lagged and I can't sleep. I'm still on PST. My head's up in the clouds. Almost feels like a dream. Blue waves of ecstasy. We're lost until we're found. So light it up. Fall in love. Say too much. Just enough. Oh my, my. Oh hell yes. For tonight we'll be stars until the morning comes.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Icons 2022. There we go. Welcome back to Icons. I'm joined by a victorious FPX member 0711. Ni hao. Congratulations on the win.
首先恭喜你们拿下了比赛的胜利。
I wanted to ask, game 1 looked so comfortable, like every other game that you've had, but game 2 was very different. What was playing in that series like?
你们第一局的时候赢得非常舒服，就像你们之前的每一场比赛一样。但是第二局的时候有一些困难。第二局发生了什么？对你来说，第二局是什么样的感受？
就第二局对面掏出了他们的黑科技，针对我们的脆皮阵容嘛。我们阵容就是只要探视野就死，就是根本没有操作空间，只能通过兵线拉扯来去跟对面玩。
In the second round, they have pick out some of the draft that's more tanky than us, so we didn't have the space to do the engagement too much. So we got a little bit trouble about that.
When it came to the pick specifically, Veigar and Draven, was that confusing? Did it trouble you?
你觉得他们那局选择的这个瑞文的这个英雄，对你们来讲会不会是一个比较大的一个阻碍呢？
瑞文吗？是第一局还是第二局？
It's for game 1 or game 2?
Game 2.
Game 2 the Raven and with which one?
Veigar and Draven.
OK, 选择的小法和这个 Draven 的德莱文的这个英雄，就是在第二局的时候。
德莱文这英雄还有主要是小法加上魏的 combo， 就是让我们这边基本上都要打个人操作的，但基本上都是被定点爆破死了，然后根本没有操作空间。
I think their Vigor compo with the Vey is more important for their composition because they're gonna leave less space for our to do the team fight for the engagement like.
That's right, with the event Horizon that kept going down over and over again. We saw that. When it came to the Elder Dragon, the final, one of the biggest fights there, what were the communication like?
你们最后远古火龙的沟通是怎么样的？
就说别急，然后对面兵线不好，对面会急，然后我也不用盯着开团，因为那时候主要是拼下惩戒就行了，因为对面已经有2条小龙，我只要拿下这条火龙就行。
We all focusing on our own laners, such as we don't need to be hurry because they need to focus on their top and bot 2 laner. They didn't have much time to focus on the dragon, so I just need to do my best on the smite.
Yeah, and it worked out. Congratulations. And then FPX is the number 1 seed. What is the strength of FPX compared to all the other teams in the world?
因为 FunPlus 是 WRL 赛区的1号种子嘛，你觉得 FunPlus 对世界上所有其他的队伍来讲，你们的优势是在于哪里呢？
优势就是我们自信心可能会更好吧，就是敢拿出更多比较吃操作的英雄，然后上限可能会更高一点。
We think we are better than them because we are more confident than them, so we can do more choice for the draft.
And it shows, but we haven't seen it quite yet. It seems like everything has been pretty standard so far. Last question, we want to ask.
Oh, never mind.
Bye, Degon.
Well, we are going to see if the WRL win streak can continue, this time with JD Gaming as they take on Rolster Y. Now, really curious, guys, as to how you think this is going to go as we go into Champ Select. I mean, like early predictions, I'm curious. How so would you predict?
JD Gaming.
JD Gaming.
Pretty much the same. Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be it. We are well on our way to a 4 out of 4 for the WRL teams.
But there is a but yet again. Rolster Y is also a team that does crazy drafting. We know Omega Esports does it, but Rolster Y as well. They showed it in their first series where they picked the Senna with an AP Malphite, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's a crazy combo because, you know, you have an invisible AP Malphite fully engaging, and then they picked the Yasuo as well. So if there is a team, you know, that also outdrafts one of these WRL teams, it's going to be Rolster Rolster Y.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one, and I think it's very cheeky as well because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they got it from SBTC all the way back to Horizon Cup.
Oh, wow.
But it's a very good combo. It worked out very well for them. With all that said though, I'm a Jindong enjoyer myself, and I feel like besides FPX, they're the best team, most solid, fundamentally solid all-around team that we have here at Icons.
Yeah, you brought up the Horizon Cup thing. I also would like to add that, like, of course, Rolster Y, they are coming in with that Horizon Cup experience. I hope that still adds to something because...
They look worse now, Mika.
I mean, but WRL has to fall sometime, right? I mean, I wonder how long they can keep this win streak going. It's looking like all the way until the knockout
It
stage.
must fall, but it will not be this game.
It won't be this game.
In my feeling, yeah.
Someone we need to talk about is Luna, because this is one of my favorite
I love
players.
Luna.
I love Luna. Like this guy, he plays ADCs. ADCs. No APCs, no crazy stuff. He really well, he plays it as well, but he loves to play ADCs, especially that Vayne. And I'm sure the JDG knows it. There it is,
Oh,
Varus.
okay,
He's
yeah.
actually gonna be playing that Varus.
Yeah, but no like Lucian, you know, nothing
Yeah, yeah.
flashy. I mean, Lucian is banned, and I think that's a good call. It's one of Luna's best champions, most picked as well. But JDG getting this Karma, I'm not sure if that's a pick you want to that true for a Chinese.
You don't really want to give a Karma to anyone, to be honest,
Yes.
especially not a Chinese team. And it seems like Rolster Y, like, if you leave a Karma open, you gotta have counters to it, right? So Rolster Y decided, hey, we're gonna leave Karma open, but we're gonna pick a Varus and a Kha'Zix instead. Now, I don't really like that as much, because Karma can save people from that from the Kha'Zix, right? With that shielding that she has, with the roots, with the ultimate. Like, I believe this is not the answer to the Karma.
I think if you break down fundamentally what's really good about Karma, it's 5v5 team fighting, right? AoE heal, shielding, as well as AoE team fighting tools here. What are your solutions to that then? Maybe T1, this is them saying we want to play side lane, and Kha'Zix would let you play the side lane very well. Because Rattel, I think he's one of the key win conditions on this team as well, besides Luna.
And I love that Gragas pick as well, because Gragas fits perfectly with the Kha'Zix, as Gragas' ultimate can spread out the entire team of JDG. So JDG picks it themselves.
Yeah,
So
true.
the only one champion that can actually spread out everyone still is going to be the Galio for Rolster Y. Not sure if they're still going to pick that, because it doesn't really fit that well into their composition, but we'll see.
I'm curious with this pick from Zero, though, the Singed, because I feel like, you know, the Singed has a lot of potential to be a little trolly, you know, going into a game. So I wonder if Rolster Y are thinking, okay, we need to do something a little bit crazy here since we're going up against, again, a WRL team.
So the thing about Sinch is he's always good, and especially against these melee champions, against the Lee Sin, against the Gragas, like he can throw them back and he can really put them off guard. So I like the Sinch pick, as it's like, it's just always a good pick, really. And ooh, JDG bans away the Thresh. They don't want to have Rolster Y with an aggressive support.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good call as well, right? Nomel, that's one of his most picked champions. You have to consider the fact that he is a role swap player. He's been playing, he's a mid lane sub for Rolster Y for such a long time now. Champion pool, maybe a little bit smaller. So if you target that one, that's a fair strategic assumption from the side of JDG too.
And I think that Chi and Doki and Luna and Nomel were definitely one of the matchups that we wanted, that we were really keeping our eyes on here. And, you know, yesterday, of course, Rolster Y had a lot of great success, as you guys mentioned. But going up against, you know, Chi and Doki, I don't know. Let's see how this draft wraps up here. And we did see the Singed earlier played to great success. I'm hoping that this will be another one. Oh,
And there's
okay.
a Rakan ban as well. Clearly, like Omo said, JDG's focusing on Nomel. They want to ban out his champion pool. And what else is open now? It's the Galio.
Galio's open now. Maybe something like an Alistair. I'm not exactly sure
They
what they
could
want
do
to
the
go for.
Malphite again if they want to.
But they don't have the Senna anymore. They've banned it away.
But I think the crux of the draft right now for RY, it needs to rest in Rattel's hand. He needs to have a good counter pick. He needs to have a good matchup to let them play to
There
his
it
win
is.
condition. Yeah, Alistair Varus, this is a solid draft so far from RY, but it needs the linchpin. It needs a game winner. They don't have a game winner right now. Let's see what Rattel picks for that.
I assume it's going to be the Renekton in the Baron lane. A very strong and solid champion that can pretty much be... Oh, well,
Okay,
JDG just picked it away.
Then that's Akali angle.
Akali, you think it's going to be
I think
Akali
it's
for
Akali
Rolster Y?
angle, yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. They have the Alistar as a tank. They have the Sinch as a tank. It could happen. Ooh, that's also a Garen, by the way. JDG is playing a
Actually,
full...
it's a pretty different
How about a
Akali
Veigar?
angle.
Oh, imagine if they put Singed in the Baron lane and a Veigar. Yet again, like this draft right here is a perfect Veigar draft. I mean, probably not gonna happen, but oh, that would be my fantasy.
Hells just really loves the
Rattel
Veigar.
pick right now.
Hells just really loves the Veigar and would like any
Go
team to play the
enjoy
Veigar.
Oh, and that's also good.
good.
It works
Yeah.
against the Bruisers, right?
But the thing is right now, it's not a game winner here for Rattel. What's RY's team comp gonna do? it's just gonna 5v5 you. It ends up still being a 5v5 comp.
How about an AP Varus right here? How about an AP Varus? That could
I've never
work.
seen that before.
You've never seen AP
No,
Varus?
I've never seen
AP
that.
Varus works very well into those tanks, like the Renekton, like the Garen, like the Gragas, and even against the likes of Elise Sin. It would be a very bold move to make, but if you do it, then this is the exact draft you want to do it.
I mean, I think it'll be very interesting, right? Because right now, the only tank killer that Rolster Y really has is the Darius, and that's so conditional as well.
Varus could be with the AP build, like
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I'm saying.
So
If
they
you go
need
for the
more.
AD, it's gonna be so hard to poke down at comp of JDG.
That's exactly the case. We're going to see what Rolster Y has in store for JD Gaming. Casters, over to you guys.
Well, chance here for Rolster Y to be the only team to take a series off from a WRL team. JDG looking to make sure the WRL go 4-0 by the end of the night. Stuart, we've just seen staple drafts from both sides. What happens here?
Yeah, I feel like for the side of Rolster, they were trying to take away picks away from China. But we've seen it work already. We've seen it already, you know.
Tried already.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen it tried already from other regions, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't matter what you pick away. You know, for the side of Zero, he takes the Singed away from a Chinese team. It's the first time he's going to be playing it this entire year. But the problem is that you're taking away these picks, but at the same time, it's not really about the picks. It's just about how you play the picks, and it's about how you play the game as well. And now for Rolster, they're going to be looking to try and do something. But I think the big thing about this game is actually the Karma is going to go into the duo lane. So it's going to be more of a carry Karma, which I think is the first time, actually maybe in this tournament, that we've seen like a carry Karma, because I feel like it's got such a high ban percentage that we don't really see a lot of Karmas at all.
Well, maybe an opportunity there for the Karma to pop off. Maybe an opportunity here for Rolster Y as game number 1 out last series of the night. Rolster Y with an opportunity here, but everyone has tried everything. They've tossed everything in the WRL teams. Nothing has seemed to stick so far, and they are looking unbeatable right now, Stuart.
See Luna do like a little 360 there. He was I like that with Varus. It's like when you're charging up the piercing arrow, you could do like a little 360. You can spin around.
360 no scope.
Yeah, that's a classic one for anyone. Maybe that. I think that's
Please
more of
don't,
like a,
please don't say classic. If it makes me feel like if our audience doesn't understand the joke, well, we're aging here, Stuart.
I feel like it's a bit more of a boomer thing, really. To be fair, maybe the Zoomers that are watching won't really understand that. It's a classic thing. I'd call it a classic thing, but
All right.
hopefully most of you will know
Well,
understand
we're
the reference.
tasteful. You know, we like the classics.
But back into this game anyway, I think for Rolster, they had a little bit of a struggle yesterday. They only won 2-1 in the end against Liberty, against the Brazilian team, but they showed that they can play different styles. And saying that,
What an interesting start here. Rolster Y actually very close to something happening in the mid lane, nearly finding a kill, but JDG with an aggressive move
Noel's up
onto
here.
Rattel. Doki match here. By the opposite side, Noel's gonna come in, but it's JDG that managed to run them down. 2 on the board for JDG.
Doki flashed to make sure he can land the body slam, which was huge. You know, the Mel with the roam, Doki with the roam as well. But Doki's the one that comes out on top because it was a 3 versus 2 situation. And look at Lemon. They're going to try and trap them here. Rattel's going to walk straight back into Lemon.
Not.
He's
This is
level 5.
Yes, the ultimate. He gets to walk in. Singdo level 4 here as well with so much damage. They wait out the knockup.
He's alive,
and he's a
though.
little bit more damage on the kill, but Rattel gets away by JDG. What an incredible sign of dominance.
That was a perfect setup for the side of JDG, but they weren't able to secure the kill. That means Zero has to roam up to the Baron lane as well and take away all this gold and experience. But look at the gold lead already. Look at that Baron lane. Lemon is 1,000 gold ahead already. 2 levels up from Rattel. And I feel like this game is in a lot of Rattel's hands because, as they mentioned on Anistesh, you know, we need a tank killer. There's not really a tank killer in terms of Varus or in terms of Singed or even Kha'Zix. It has to be on Rattel to try and get ahead. But the problem is he's already fallen so far behind.
Yeah, it's conditional. He needs a lead. And it feels so difficult now that Rattel's already falling behind. And a big part of that is also going to be how JDG intend to continue with their lead as well. We know how well they're able to push advantages where they have them. Look at this freezing wave.
Yep.
I mean, what does Rattel do in this spot?
There's nothing that he can do, I feel like, in this spot. I mean, he has to just get as much gold and as much experience as he can in the bot lane. But Nomel and Luna in his bot side, they're going to try and get a pick here.
Surely not.
They're
Okay,
going
Chain
in.
of Corruption comes through. Noel does get that knockup, gets a combo over on the shield. The exhaust will hold him down, and no way for Chi to fight back. But JDG, no one falls here.
Yeah, nothing at all, unfortunately. And look, The problem is now is that because Rattel is so far behind, it feels like Zero and Do have to just stay with Rattel the entire time and basically act as like bodyguards for Rattel. Because if Rattel is all by himself against this Renekton, he can just solo kill him over and over again. And you can see that Rattel has to stay underneath his tower. And look, JDG, they're just going to push towards his bot side now as well. But we're also going to look to play aggressive, but I'm not too sure if this is what you want to do.
Doki gets a body slam back. Kick on to Noel, and Noel with the Ignite ticking down will lose his life. Rolster Y stuck under Tara Luna, dropping down low as you watch Juju nearby, looking for an angle of his own.
Alistar was a little bit tanky there, but was able to go down. I think it was the Ignite in the end by Doki that actually got him in the end. So
seems to be the case.
Again, JDG are the ones, they're at the right place at the right time. They're trying to get a few kills, and look, Rattel is just, he's going to be struggling. This is like the worst situation, I feel like, for a Baron laner, where you're over 1,000 gold behind in the early game, and especially with, like you said, you know, Lemon was freezing the wave as well. You don't have a lot of gold, you don't have a lot of experience. Over 1,000 gold behind already, and now Doki's here again.
Such an active start from JDG, right? We've had a bunch of games between guys like FPX, teams like Nova, and they took things relatively slow to begin with, right? They didn't come out the gates swinging in. This time around, the fact that JDG is making those proactive moves gives them a solid lead as we move into the first spawn.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the draft as well. You know, you have the Lee Sin, you have the Renekton, these early engaged champions. Even the Garen as well could do really well in the early game. And Jojo?
A critical moment here. Jojo might go down. Noel is chasing after him. The support taking down your mid laner. But now you watch Noel stuck inside the pit. Have to spend some time getting away now. Trying to use the Transcendent Embrace to find a catch onto Luna. Only catches Noel by this side, but he won't go on the Alistar, not now at least. JDG over by the back, and here we come, Rolster Y! And now you start to see, come online, Rattel! But he doesn't have enough damage, doesn't get the reset down, but Rolster Y will run down JDG.
And Nomel, again, the substitute for the side of Rolster. He shows that he can play support. He came in to the Rolster. He's a substitute for Rolster as a mid laner, a Baron laner. He comes in as a support into this roster, and he's showing. He showed in the previous series as well, and he showed in this series why he can come in and why he can dominate.
And that's effectively entirely gone there.
It was huge, and it started off really with him getting the solo kill on the backline as well. He was like, oh, I'm just going to kill Jojo as we take a look at the Coca-Cola pop-off, but Do as well on the backline. He's 1 HP, he's just staying there. He's making sure that he keeps himself alive. They kind of got into a situation where Jingdo as well on the top side, he tried to get the pick. He actually misses his first ability as well. He has flashed away, but look at this knock-up. Flash into headbutt, pulverize, and then Luna's poke afterwards as well. And that allows Do to come in with the cleanup of the assassin.
Yeah, if we saw Rattel get a kill there with his ultimate initially, I'm pretty sure that was a reset. Pretty sure that was a wipe onto JDG. And all the gold lead, all the effort expanded in the early game, now not amounting to too much against Rolster Y. JDG need to work their way back into a strong position. But they have the Rift Herald and he used it, and so we do see that happen once again.
Yeah, exactly. The Rift Herald means that they get the first tower of the game in the mid lane, which means that they still have a gold lead. You know, even though they lost that team fight, they're still at a 1,000 gold lead. This is the crazy thing, and this is what we talked about as well about, you know, the WRL teams, is that even if they lose team fights, they still play the map so well. They know where to be at the exact same time, and they're on the same page as well, which means that they can get gold leads. Maybe not through team fights, but maybe through just taking objectives and getting minions.
You can tell, Rolster, they know something's up. Why is Lemon stepping up to like this? Why is he stepping up? And they know something's going on here, so they're not being baited in. Nomel sees all this happen, and they just want to stay safe.
Nomel is just making sure that he doesn't do anything. There you go. He sees Doki. He's like, yeah, I knew you were there the whole time. There was nothing really he could do. But JDG, they're looking to try and still make the tower dive here.
Between the turret dive or the turret, they'll take either, but they get neither.
Yeah, they don't get anything in the end. Nomel is the one that tries to go for the engage again, and Nomel's a player that I really wanted to highlight really in this series, because coming in as a substitute, it can be a little bit difficult. We've seen other teams as well struggle when it comes in terms of, you know, substitution and everything as well, and last second changes. But Nomel's come in and he's fit right into this roster as a support, and he's going to go in again. He's making the engages.
JDG sees Lemon get caught out. The Chain of Corruption won't be able to hold him down long enough. So close with the arrow. But Rolster Y narrowly missed a kill again.
He's going to look to engage again, potentially Lemon.
Oh! Lemon!
You should know that's coming. The piercing arrow from Luna.
Joe,
And
well
he gets
done.
a kill. That was beautiful from Luna.
But up in the top side, maybe a response here by getting catch onto Zero. They want to find a kick, they want to find something here, but it's difficult. The Singe so quick to run away.
That's just such a Singe thing to do. It's like press his ultimate, you just walk forward, clear the minion wave, and you just back off, and you don't even die. You're just that tanky. You just walk forward and just do everything. But Rolster this game, they're doing pretty well in this game. They now have a gold lead. They've come back now. They've got a gold lead. They got a few towers. They got a few kills. They're doing a great job this game.
And it's such a big part of what happened with like the previous roster, with Roster Y going into the Horizon Cup when you had Salem. You know, Salem going into that is still like a fair bit older than Luna, and so they had someone who could help keep him calm. You know, Luna wanting to be that big hyper carry, someone that can fill in that position. Now with Noel, it's not an easy spot to fill, but he's done an amazing job so far. And Roster Y now trying to contest for this Rift Herald, both sides fighting for it.
Yeah, they're not worried at all. We're going to look to go in. Lemon on the sideline as well. Uses ultimate. The Gragas splits him up as well.
Dominus over to the back line. He's trying to take out Do before the fight can resume. Over by the side, he does manage to flash away. Redemption comes over, sets up the domain for JDG in their favor. Now look at how low they've gone. Lemon flashes in, but gets exhausted. Will lose his life with a little bit more time. A huge kick back, but Roster Y are still being able to push them back. JDG are not able to finish off the fight. Sino gets knocked back, was nearly able to find a pickup onto Do. Blinking red health bar to the side of Roster Y, but they will find 3 on JDG side.
They found the team fight. They lost a Rift Herald in the end, which means that they could potentially be losing more towers. But Rolster, they're the ones that are playing aggressive. They're the ones that are going in and taking this game to JDG. And Nomel, this Karma's starting to do a little bit of damage, but they're the ones that are going to take the mid lane tower. And they even could potentially get a Baron lane tower as well. Do up in the Baron lane. That's 2 towers over the side of Rolster.
Yeah, frankly, an amazing response here from Roster Y. Their team fighting has been looking impeccable through these fights.
They're finding the right times to go in, and that's the great thing about Rolster as well. As we take a look back at this replay, you can see that Lemur was on the sideline. They tried to isolate Do, but they didn't do enough damage. Do was able to jump away, try and isolate, and you can see it's all about being grouped together. But Lemon just goes a little bit too aggressive here. You can see the exhaust goes down straight away, and that's it. That's isolate kill, but now we're going back to live.
Yeah, moving on to Doki. Doki has to flash away, uses the body slam as well, gets tossed back with the shoulder sling, the shoulder fling. Roster Y now have opportunity to pick up the dragon.
This is not the JDG that we're used to. This really isn't. This is JDG getting caught out. This is China. This is WRL on the back foot against Rolster.
They are tested on the limits of this match. Roster Y pick up the dragon. Nomel doing an amazing job buying space for the rest of his team. A beautiful Dragon's Rage knocked back the Alistar, but still alive for now. Jojo hunting for a kill, but tossed back once again, and you cannot run away from the clutches of Zero.
Nomel, how does he stay alive in every one of these fights? And Luna, oh, he steals the red buff there. It was a nice little vision toggle there from the from production. Trying to take away the red buff, but he doesn't steal it in the end. Yeah, exactly. But again, it's Rolster. They're the ones that gets the pick. They got the pick onto Doki. Wow. They were able to get the advantage. And look at this. Rolster are the ones that are getting the gold advantage.
And here we go. They're starting to build up that lead. You know, this is that chance for Roster Y. They fell short to a WRL team last time around, to a Chinese team last time around. But this time, they have a chance to pull back.
And we thought coming into this that, you know, Rolster maybe weren't as strong as what they were last year. You know, the Chinese teams coming into this, they look a lot stronger than what they did last year, you know, with Thunder Talk Gaming and Duckun Gaming. But now it's Rolster that are taking it to JDG this game, and they've done really, really well. And I feel like it's all down to Nomel at the moment. You know, the Alistar, the main engage for this team. He's the one going in. He's the one making the plays as well. And then the follow-up from Luna, the follow-up from Do as well with the assassinations have come up huge, and that's given them that 5,000 gold lead at the moment.
Yeah, exactly, right? Roster Y have done an amazing job working together as a team to try and get something done. Frankly, a lot more productivity from this team that we haven't got to see from them in the previous series, and now we finally get to see that happen.
I think the adaptation that KT has shown, Rolster Y has shown, is they can play through different play styles. They can play through Luna, they can play through Ratel as well, which is what they showed a lot against Liberty. They can play different play styles, and this is more down to, you know, Do. This is more down to the assassins as well. Ratel in the back line could do a little bit as well on this Darius, but he has fallen quite far behind, you can see. But Do, 12,000 gold on this Kha'Zix. It's all down to him. He's the one that has to stay in the back line. He has to make sure that he's finds some isolated targets. Now it's down to JDG to try and group together. But the problem is, when you group together, you're against an Alistar as well that can hit you with multiple knockouts. So look at that. They're going to use a Rift Herald towards the bot side. It's going to create that pressure. But meanwhile, Rogue's still going to try and push in that top mid lane and top lane.
I love what they're trying to do with the Rift Herald, right? They get that pressure in the bot side because they know they have to fight for the Baron. With Do on the Kha'Zix, you can so quickly finish it off. So they need to try and get in position, try and contest it in case Roster Y do start it up.
Rolster, they tried to get a little bit of deep vision, but I don't think they had any wards available. You can see there's multiple control wards on the side of Rolster, which means that they can't get any deep vision. So there is one ward, though, in the mid lane that you can see right in the middle of the map. That's going to give a little bit of vision over to Rolster to make sure that they can see the rotations on the side of JDG. But JDG is a team that play a lot slower. We saw that against Immortals as well, that they're happy to just sit back. They're happy to just take the disadvantages that they're going to get from the early game. And then when it comes to team fights, that's really where JDG shines. And they showed that against Immortals as well in the previous series. But if Doki is just going to keep getting isolated and keep getting caught out, it's really, really careful. And now on the Mel, you can see this. Rolster are playing with a lot of confidence in this game.
Yeah, JDG much more cautious now as Rolster emboldened themselves after a few successful engages, a few successful catch and pickoffs.
Now it's Rolster. They're going to look to try and push down in the bot side of the map. They're not going to be able to get any exchanges. The leap comes in, but now it's Nomel again.
Toss back onto Lemon, but you have to wonder, can Zero actually pick up a kill here? The answer is going to be no. Rolster wide, they find the engage, but it's not on the target that you want. Nomel goes down, burning to the smite from Singdo as they chase after another kill from
Luna.
no damage out from Luna. Now being able to take down the Lee Sin. JDG low on their damage, you just need to back away.
They Rolster one on the same page there. Zero looked to Protobelt in to flip back the members of JDG, but the problem was that there was no one else to follow up, and that means that Zero was just isolated. Nomel tried to go in as well, but you can see that Do, Luna, they're just sitting on the back line. They're trying to wait until the right moment. And if you take a look back at this replay, you can see, if you look at Zero here on Singed and Nomel, you can see that they're trying to catch out Lemon. They flip, but the problem is no one else is really there. Do's in the mid lane, Luna's and Rattel are in the back line, and a great explosive cast as well means that JDG can get a few picks, can get a few kills that can bring them back into this game.
It's something to watch out for, right? Even though you have a lot of pickup potential on your part, there's still a lot of response out from JDG. They're not out of the game yet. You have a gold lead, but you have to ensure this continues. Rolster Y will be looking for something again. Doki, that target, gets away again with the body slam, but the Elder Drake, oh my goodness, Stuart, is this round 2?
Oh no, not again.
Another Elder Inferno, by the way. And again, 2 dragons over to Rolster Y. Same position Omega we're in.
No, I can't have the same Omega situation again. The gold lead is on to Rolster. Everything is in Rolster's favor right now. They do have quite a lot of scaling with the Kha'Zix, but also with the Singed and the Varus, and they're the ones that sign up as well.
Okay.
Brandon, I feel like this is Omega all over again.
Omega could not do it, but Rolster Y might be able to look at his pick off. They're finding Lemon by the side. He's grounded in place for long enough. They need a little bit more damage, but Ignite will take him down. Flash on the wall, Rattel comes through. Do over in the pit. Singdo wants to try and steal this one away, but Rolster Y pick up the Outer Inferno Drake, and JDG losing the fight. A triple kill comes through for Luna. The resets for Do, and Rolster Y with the ace.
They're gonna get it. They're gonna get the game. They're gonna try and end the game now. It's a prime game in ace over to the side of Rolster. They take the Elder Dragon. They win the 50-50 flip. Luna on this Varus 7-0 and 7, and Do on this Kha'Zix. They're gonna look to try and take down the first game.
30 seconds and the death timers on JDG, so Rolster Y run into the base, move in onto the Nexus, take this one down, and bring this series to Rolster Y's favor.
Oh, we could be getting something a little bit juicy in this series. We've already seen the Chinese teams, the WRL teams looking confident, but JDG in that game, they didn't look confident at all. It was all about Rolster. They were the ones engaging with Nomel on the Alistar as well. They were on the front foot for the entire game.
Yeah, something strange is happening here. Sure, we see what happens.
I'm not used to this.
In the Omega game, they didn't get the Elder Drake, and they lost this time. Rolster Y did.
Exactly, and it all comes down to the Elder Drakes at points in this game, and sometimes it's a 50-50 flip. Whoever takes the Elder Dragon can win the team fight, and it was Rolster the ones that were on the front foot. They got the vision control around the Elder, and that means that they were able to take this first game, and Grandin, we have a series on our hands.
A lot of pressure here on Rolster Y for sure, but like you said, we have a series on our hands potentially. Well, we say that because FPX were expecting JDG were expected to pull back. You know,
exactly.
It's very likely, and so we need to see how Rolster Y intend to close this one out. If they're going to be able to pick up the 2-0, if they're going to have to see JDG pull back with one, we'll have to find out. We're going to toss it over to Mika with a very interesting, unexpected result, I would say. So see what they have to say about this one.
Ooh.
Thanks,
Hold
Brandon.
your horses, guys. This this, I think, was the first time that we saw a team have a definitive win against a Chinese team.
That wasn't like, I'm saying that was an actual win, because like all the wins we saw before were kind of lucky wins, but this like Rolster Y just Rolster Y completely outplayed JDG, and they actually just won the game.
I think if you look at the last few games that other teams have won against WRL teams, you either have to cheese them somewhere or it took a crazy comeback win. There's a reason why I said that Darius wasn't a game winner for Rolster Y, because you're drafting a standard team composition. And we just said earlier today that you can't beat a WRL team because they are what defines the standard. They are the benchmark. But Rolster Y just came in here, ripped up the script, outstanded a Chinese team.
And Luna on that Varus was just
so
disgusting. He was so good.
Why does it look like they're getting scolded right now? They just won, and they just look like, okay guys, do better next game.
Don't lose the next 2 games. You got this. But no, I mean, let's talk about Luna. This guy is the big hype from the team. But another player we should talk about, actually, I just came in mind, is Do.
Yeah, a deer, right? Do okay, never mind. I won't sing the song yet.
Wow, wow.
Sorry,
is it
it's
that
stuck
late?
in my head right now.
Is it that late?
Yeah, it's getting to the delirious hours of the night. But yeah, Do had an amazing performance. His resets, his pop-offs, all amazing. Very clean stuff.
Do outplayed Zindu. He out-jungled Zindu. And
that's lead half the game.
That's an amazing thing to see. And also, you know, he got those objectives as well. He did better rotations. And it's really interesting to see that a WRL jungle just gets completely beaten out by the #1 Korean jungler.
I think Do also had great support from his team. Zero as well as... oh my god, the name's slipping me. It's really getting late. Nomel did a great job supporting him and playing around him as well. And we bring that back to Luna, who you said had a fantastic performance. I feel like his ability to game prio on the mid wave really gave his jungler, his teammates, so much space. Individually, he played insane.
His positioning was just what struck me the best. Like, he played Varus, and he never got caught. Like, a few times you would see Rolster Y, they got caught, you know, in a few fights where Singe gets caught, but he never got caught.
Yeah, he did his job perfectly as well. This team fight was so big for me as well, because I feel like this is one of the few times a WRL team gets out-fought. They just seemed a bit lost. They were a bit disconnected. Lemon went in, the rest of the team went out, and they just got cleaned up.
Exactly. JDG looked quite shaky, and this wasn't just like one team fight where they had to regroup or anything. This was several team fights, pretty much all throughout the game. And Rolster Y, I think they sensed that, and they were able to one-up JD Gaming. So this is I feel like, you know, quite encouraging, I feel, for all of the
promising
other teams
signs,
as well. Promising signs.
So what's
promising
signs.
Guys,
yeah.
I hate to be the party pooper here, but okay. So
where you're gonna be?
Rolster I did a great job, but it also, indeed, just like Mika said, it felt like JDG was not in that game, right? Like Zindu, when the Elder Dragon was up, by the way, Zindu was in the top lane. He was not there. He was not there, and of course you cannot do that, because Rolster I was probably also thinking like, wait, is that Zindu on the Lee Sin in the top lane? Can we just start the Elder and get it? Yeah, you can. So, you know, Rolster I did a great job. I don't want to take away anything from them, but that was also JDG. Like, they screwed up. We don't expect this from a WR team, but it shows that they're also human. They can also screw up.
Yeah, and it's a question going into, you know, game number 2. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we're seeing a graph like this against a WRL team, because usually it's just like all over, you know, all over. It snowballs over to one side. This is pretty split, and it's pretty split in favor of Rolster Y towards the late game. But yeah, going back to that point of Rolster Y, I'm curious what they can bring out for game 2, because again, here we are again. It's gonna go to game 2, and you kind of don't want to be up against again a WR team that is potentially angry.
Well, the thing is, like, Luna picked Varus here, and we know Luna for his Vayne. We know Luna for his actual ADCs, and then on the Varus, he also just absolutely hard carries and does 28,000 damage.
I mean, I love that he's a multifaceted player. The mechanics, the game sense, the awareness carries true regardless of what he plays. And at the end of the day, I mean, poke champions, you're always going to do top damage, right? I feel like this game really came down to JDG just looking disconnected, because they have a great 5v5 comp too. They could potentially have taken these team fights. This is a promising sign for Rolster Y, but as a long-suffering KT fan, let's take it one step at a time.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, I also want to be the party pooper this time, like kind of like
we're all pooping on the party right now.
But I feel like, you know, it's been 4 out of 4 games so far for like, I mean, it's been 3 out of 4 games so far for the WRL teams. I just don't feel like JD Gaming is one to let this slip away as well. But as we can see, Rolster Y, you know, looking a little bit serious. They are going to take this game too seriously. But we also did hear them, you know, give this big victorious roar at the end of that game. They know it, they're feeling it. The ball is in their court right now.
But I love that. Like, you let the emotion overtake you when you win the game. That's perfectly deserved, right? Such a hard-fought win against JDG. But I love that when they go back, their coaches are talking to them. The 3Cs, cool, calm, collected. They're getting ready for the next game. Another thing to really keep in mind here as well, the stakes of this game are so high, Mika. One, semifinal slot. You just lock yourself in right away. Number two, oh, well, not semifinals.
Knockouts.
Top 8, yeah, knockouts. Number 2, this is not just a win to get yourself into playoffs. The stakes of this are bigger than that. This is a win, the first win possibly against the WRL team.
It's a statement, right? Like, we are the guys that can beat WRL. Like, WRL has never lost a series, and if Rolster Y is the first team, everyone is going to remember that.
Yeah, this is potentially a 25-0 international ranking for the WRL.
That's
Rolster
crazy.
Y, they have the last chance to put an end to that here.
It's going to be huge, and we knew that coming into this day. We had 3 regions going up against the WRL teams. We had Southeast Asia, then we had Brazil, now we have Korea.
Everyone
Are
tried
they
their
going to be the ones?
We had 2 #1 seeds face up against the WRL, unfortunately falling to them. And this is another #1 seed, right? This is Korea, and come on, there has to be one of them that can beat it out, right?
Watch JDG's come back in and dominate this game.
Right. that could happen, right? Because indeed, that was not the JDG we knew. We just talked about it. This is not the JDG we knew. JDG we knew is super clean, just like the other WRL teams, and they can roll over Rolster Y, but the question is, do they have the mental game to come back from the 0-1 right now?
I mean, one thing you talk about when you talk about the WRL is how long their seasons are, how many games they play.
Yeah.
And I think that's something which really grinds that mentality into you, where you need to be stable, where you need to be able to recover from long series, long games. So hopefully JDG still have some gas in the tank here.
Well, we'll see. For the first time, I actually don't know how to predict the end of this series, and it's very exciting indeed. So let's send it back to our casters, Grandin and Stuart.
Well, JDG coming back to this one with renewed vigor, I am sure, as Rolster Y pull ahead in the series here, Stuart. Wanna know?
We could finally be seeing a series loss in the hands of China. We could be seeing Korea taking over China, and I feel like Korea is a region coming into this tournament. People are saying, maybe a top 3 region, but then we saw Quantum Freaks lose to Sentinels.
Right.
We then saw T1 struggle a lot against Ricks and also struggle in the group stage, but Rolster is showing that they're the #1 seed coming out for Korea. They are a level above from the rest of the Korean region.
I'm trying to think about this right now, Stuart, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking about this, and all I recall were teams that taken games off of Chinese region, the Chinese region, have all been off the second game, right? And so you're always playing for that last game spot. Now Rolster might have 2 chances to potentially win this.
That's a great thing. They have the momentum now. That's a great thing about Rolster, is like they have the momentum. They, like you said, they have 2 chances now. Even if this game doesn't go as well as what they expect, they can go back to the 3rd game. They can say like, okay, we can go back to where it is. As we hopefully should be getting to the draft very, very shortly. But the draft is going to be a very, very interesting one, because I feel like JDG, they got a little bit baited by this Karma first pick from what they did in the first game, because that's what they did. JDG went for this Karma, but it was a Druid lane Karma. It wasn't a support Karma, because the thing is about these Chinese teams is they don't play a lot of AD carries. They don't play a lot of these hyper carries that we know that other regions can play with the Karma. They instead use the Karma towards that Druid lane, and it just wasn't really as effective. But JDG, they're going to stay on the blue side, but I'm expecting a different first pick this time around.
It's a good pick. It's a good pickup. Don't get me wrong, but the Karma in that specific position against Rolster Y, seems like Rolster Y have done a lot of preparation against that. You think about what this team does. They scrim along the WRL teams. Get a lot of practice against them. They understand how they play the most, maybe the most, out of any other team coming into the Icon Scope Championship. So, going to this one, we see the bans come through very quickly. The Lucian and the Wukong on JDG side. Rolster Y get rid of the Senna, something that has been very prevalent as well.
Yep, Senna has been a very, very popular pick this Icons. Another one is Corki as well. Corki, the Chinese teams really love the Corki. They really love the Senna. Luna has played Senna himself, but they're making sure they don't give that away. And it might be a situation where they're going to try and just bait JDG to go for this Karma pick again, which means that there could be a situation where maybe Chi plays a hyper carry, but again, and again, look, it's going to be the Karma first pick, but now I want JDG to adapt this. I don't want it to go into the hands of Chi. Maybe it can go in the hands of Doki or even Jojo in the mid lane.
Karma, again, trying to really insist on this one. Yeah, I think you're right. Might be the issue in my opinion, because she was on the Karma. They like damage elsewhere, right? Whereas Luna and Kant had the Varus, was able to provide some safe damage from the back. We'll go back again for the Varus Kha'Zix combo.
There, just run it back again, and now this is the Jax pick, so this is different. This is not the early aggressive Lee Sin, and there's the Singed priority as well. They're going to make sure that's not going to go into the hands of Zero this time, and this is better from JDG. This potentially means that this Karma could go into the hands of Doki, and we could be seeing a situation where Doki just enables Indo on this Jax, play a more supportive style Karma build, and then let Jax jump in with all the shields and heals that Karma can give over.
Rolster Y adapt with the Arya as well. They say, well, you can have a bunch of pick off. We'll have a bunch of pick off too. You go into the late game, we're going to pick off your Jax. Your Jax isn't going to live long enough to see that point.
There's a bit of adaptation I like from JDG, you know, going for the priority on the Singe, which they didn't do in the last. I think Zero had a very, very good performance on that Singe pick. I think Singe is just a champion that's just really annoying at the moment. That gets played in the mid lane. You can just wave clear, you can just go forward, you can just tank a lot of damage. It has great pick potential as well. And like I said, with the Karma, with the movement speed that she can offer as well, it's definitely a good pick. As we take a look through the second bans, it's going to be the Rakan ban over for Rolster. And now we're going to see a little bit of maybe a few changes again as the Alistar being banned away. I think Nomel had a really, really great performance in the last game on the Alistar.
Yeah, the Alistar honestly had a bunch of great combos, allowed Rolster Y a lot of space and a lot of ways to get in. I am looking to see if Rolster Y have something else in plan, especially with the Rakan removed already. Maybe the Thresh comes through for Rolster Y, you know, it seems to fit the bill.
Yep, I mean, Nomel has played the Thresh, has played the Nami as well. Nami is another pick
Okay,
that could...
never
there you
mind.
go. No more
Thresh.
Thresh. Yeah. So
if
now,
I see JDG, definitely see it.
the crazy thing is that Nomel has come in as a new support player, and he's played every single game. He's played a unique champion. He's played Nami, Thresh, Malphite, and then Alistar. And he might have to come up with a new one, as they're going to actually leave the support for the last pick over to Nomel.
Yeah, not something they have to rush here, apparently. They want to see what the matchup is going to look like on the bot side first, decide, do we need some safety, do we need engage, like what do we want here? Frankly, Rolster Y don't seem to have that much frontline, so maybe they do have to try and draft for something like the Braum, you know, something like maybe even the Leona if they have to stretch it far enough.
Yeah, they're two picks that can work really well. I think the Braum can definitely work really well. You don't really have a lot of ways to really proc the Braum passive, but it's really good as like a disengage against the likes of a Singe, the Gragas, and also the Jax as well. As the Gragas is still going to get picked up, so it could be another situation where we could see this Karma down in the draw lane, unless they switch things up again with this last pick. But I feel like this is just going to be a lemon pick up into the Baron lane.
This Gragas actually
going to be a
huge.
So
wow.
Again, it's cheat on this Karma again. It didn't work too well in the first game. I don't really like it personally because, like you said, you know, you don't really have a lot of damage, but they now have this hyper carry in the Jax. This is a way that this is like their win condition. This is JDG win condition now, is that they're going to look to Zindo on this Jax. You got the shields from the Shen, you got the shields from the Karma, and it's actually going to be set in the hands of Nomel.
You still have to set, you know, it's a pretty easy pickup option going to this one. That being said, JDG, I am kind of scared of the composition. Like, I'm looking at this, and it's something we've seen a lot from these teams so far. A composition like this does amazingly well once you skill into that mid to late game. Rolster Y, I feel like they are playing on a timer here.
Yeah, I feel like they are as well. You know, the Jax is going to be scaling, the Singe is going to be scaling. They don't have a lot of consistent damage though, to be honest. I feel like Rolster have a lot of damage. You know, they have the Ahri, they have the Varus, they have the Kha'Zix. And to be fair, on JDG's side, the only real damage that you have is from this Jax. Maybe a little bit from the Singed as well, but the Karma's not going to be doing a lot of damage.
Definitely a lot of displacement, but not a lot of damage.
Exactly, yeah. I feel like that maybe JDG might fall into the same trap as what they did last game with the Karma first pick, making sure they just take it away from Rolster, because I feel like if it goes into Rolster's hands, that means you can give Luna the hyper carry, like the Vayne is what we've seen, the Lucian as well. So JDG is just taking it away, but they're playing it in the draw lane, which in my opinion is not really the way that you want to play Karma. You want to play Karma as more supportive playstyle. Build the items like the Arden, like the Staff of Flowing Water to enable the rest of the team, like Zindo on this Jax.
Well, champions are set, and we're moving into the Rift very quickly. Stuart's jamming out to the music as we get ready for our next match between Rolster Y and JD Gaming. This is the chance for someone to take down the WRL team, and that's going to be on Rolster Y to get it done.
I feel like I want the playlist of every single song from the Icons, because all the songs are just banger after banger after banger. We're always grooving, you know.
They have good music, you know.
Yeah, it's great music.
I love the music.
Always jamming. We're always jamming.
The soundtrack to anyone fighting the WRL teams. I wonder what that would sound like, honestly.
They need a little bit of dance moves. They're probably dancing a little bit. They're going to feel happy after that first game. They're going to feel very, very confident. They're going to come into this second game with a lot of confidence. They're going to be like, okay, we've taken them down once with very, very similar comp to what we play now. And we're going to try and take them down again as there's a little bit of exchange in the top side. Rattel on this Riven is a pick that he played a lot during last year at the Horizon Cup. It's definitely a comfort pick for him as well. He might be having a little bit of a difficult time against this Shen. The JDG, like I said, I feel like it's all towards his Jax. It's all towards Zingdo this game. But as Hell said in the previous game, Do was actually out-jungling Zingdo.
So I have to see if there has been substantial improvement here from Rattel on the Riven. Like you've mentioned, he did well on it before, but it wasn't good enough to help them pick up the win against their opponents, their tougher opponents in Thundertalk. And so what we have here with Rattel coming into this matchup, will he be able to get something done against Lemon? It's going to look to be pretty difficult to start.
There we go. He's going in, but he's going to lose the 1v1.
A rough start here for Rolster. They were almost picking up a kill. Lemon's going to recall here. Toe walks in, but there is no kill to be had.
He was really, really low on health. He had the Ignite, but I guess he didn't realize that Lemon also had Ignite at the same time. And with the Pasha's shield that Shen has as well, with the extra attack speed that you can get, means that he wins a 1 versus 1. And I feel like I just cast across Rattel a little bit. I was like, Rattel, comfort champion on this Riven, but then he just loses a 1v1.
Well, there you go. The curse is spreading. Now, not only does it affect the Western teams, it's going to hit the Eastern teams too. Stuart, you have a superpower. Jojo very close to death here. Zero holding onto the flash, knows the barrier is up with Jojo here as well.
It's fine. All the Western fans at home, all the EU and NA fans at home, I'm not casting or anything tomorrow.
Oh.
And also EU and NA playing tomorrow. So there's a little bit of hope tomorrow.
Okay.
There's a little bit of hope.
Okay. We'll have to see how effective the Stuart curse has become. If it manages to linger in the venue, even after you leave.
If EU and NA both win tomorrow as well, I feel like I just need to just make sure that I just
very quickly and silently retire.
It was a good show while it lasted. I'll make my trip back home to the UK. It's all good.
Well, we've enjoyed your stay here.
Singapore's been great, but I'd rather see the EU teams than NA teams do well.
And the opponents are going to be the ones that faced off against the WRL teams here today. Rolster, if they do not manage to win this match now, are going to have to go and play the next matches again. So we need to see what happens here in this matchup, in this series, if there is a chance for something to happen. I mean, so far, so good. JDG and Rolster in a very narrow race. We've seen how this one played out in Game 1.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a goal lead at the moment to JDG, and that's mainly in the Baron lane. And we kind of saw it in the last game as well. It was Rattel that was really, really far behind on that Darius against the Renekton on Lemon. And now they're at a disadvantage again. I feel like Rattel, hasn't had the confident performance of what we saw last year, the Horizon Cup. Falling behind last game against Lemon, falling behind this game as well, and losing the 1 versus 1 means that he's now a 700 gold deficit. But over the rest of the map, everywhere is about even at the moment. We're about 4 minutes into the game, which means we've got 1 minute until the Dragon and the Rift Herald spawns. At the moment, everyone's a bit of a stalemate. I feel like this aggression is all towards his top side. Rattel's always looking to try and win out of these little skirmishes.
I feel like he feels the need to win this one, right? If he doesn't, they don't get much more done. Very good moves from Nomel here. Nomel repositioned, the Transcendent Embrace comes across Chi over by the side as well. They manage to get the Charm and the Chain of Corruption down, but they're not able to finish off Singdo. Not to stand united, but they finally get the kill. And Zero's still alive. Lemon flashes on the turret, but watch as he takes damage. A couple of turret shots will put him low. Luna gets the side kiting away. Facebreaker comes through again. Haymaker and the auto attack, and 2 kills to Rolster Y.
Nomel with the clean mechanics as well, being able to escape that situation. And Zingdo with Lemon and his ultimate as well. This means that Rattel has a little bit of free time in the Baron lane. He's going to try and get in a play. He's going to try and get that gold lead back to a stable state. He's going to get at least one play, so we take a look back at the replay. Look at Nomel here. He timed ultimate perfectly and flashes away, uses the face breaker as well, which means that Zingdo is in a bit of a tough spot by himself, but Lemon with the follow-up as well. But Luna with the damage, stacking up the passive, making sure he uses a piercing arrow. You can see how much damage Lemon does. This is a full tank Shen, and he still does a lot of damage, but in the end, it is a 2-for-1 trade over the side to Rolster. So even though JDG are the ones that are playing a little bit aggressive, trying to go for the tower dives, Rolster still come out on top.
A good spot for Rolster Y to get to start moving onto the Rift Tower first. It is looking to be a trade as JDG are on the Dragon.
I don't think Lemon can do anything here. I think Doe's completely
Oh
fine.
my goodness.
Oh,
No. Yeah, no.
that was a little bit scary. I'm not gonna lie.
If we saw the taunt and he hits that and hits the eye,
They're going for the fight as well.
Jojo so close to dead. Nobel dashes in. Where's the face breaker? He comes out the showstopper, picks up a shield in time. But Zero, he isn't able to put the damage down to get the kill. But they find the dragon.
It's just a distraction. Rolster are going to get the mid lane tower. They're going to get the Rift. They got the Rift Herald. They got the mid lane tower. They even got the Dragon as well. This is another early game advantage over to the side of Rolster. Even though Nomel died, he just works the distraction. Get the Xingdo away from the Dragon, which means they can secure it. They get the mid lane tower as well. And Rolster, they're looking good this game again.
It was bait all along. You thought you had it? No. Well, you did, but then they get like 3 other things in exchange. So.
Exactly. It's like Nomel just uses his life. He's just like, yeah, I'll sacrifice my life to make sure that everyone else can get an advantage. Team player.
Team player, all right. I think that does look like Nomel in the top side. Not sure if he was looking for a kill onto Lemon, but going to be difficult to get done. The Shen still very tanky and able to get away from these difficult spots.
Exactly, but you can see that things are going across the map at the moment. Nothing too crazy. Looks like JDG are the ones that are as well that are on the back foot. Look at that. Doe has the most experience at the moment in the game. Level 9, nearly level 10 already, the most experience in the entire game. And you can see on the other side, you know, the Jax is all the way down. He's not even level 9 yet. Doe has like about a half a level lead at the moment against Xingdo, and it's kind of the story of the last game as well, where Doe got a little bit of an advantage. He's currently about 1,000 gold ahead already, but Xingdo is on this Jax this time. He's not on the Lee Sin, so even if he does fall behind, he still has the scaling of buy side.
Right. Being able to get towards that late game still makes a massive difference. They're now trying to isolate off Doe, but won't be able to get that much done. Chain of Corruption comes across Xingdo, dropping health to the Ignite. Locket comes across from JDG. They managed to keep their jungler alive here.
And Luna's doing a great job on this Varus, landing Chain Corruption over and over again and using the piercing arrow and really using his distancing really well. You know, with Varus sometimes you can't really get into auto attack range, but as long as you're in range of the piercing arrows of the Chain of Corruption, you can still do a lot of damage. You know, he's gone for the Conqueror as well. He went for the Conqueror in the last game. It's not really something we see on Varus. It's normally, you know, the summon Airy. Yep.
It is a little interesting to see. It is interesting to see.
It means that Luna wants to auto-attack a few times and wants to really get into melee range to get the stacks on from the Conqueror, so then the piercing arrows will do a lot more damage. And it means that the Chain of Corruption, when it spreads as well, it's going to do damage. And it means he gets quite a few stacks quite quickly. It's not something a bit unique on Varus. You know, we normally see the Summon Airy to get a little bit more poke damage from the piercing arrow, especially during laning phase, but Conqueror is all about the team fights, all about trying to get as many stacks as possible.
And even splitting a little bit of attention, picking up the execution, just calling early, just to make sure they have the Grievous Wounds so they can put it down. Being able to cut a lot of the healing coming through from JDG's side is going to be so useful, especially taking down Jojo during the ultimate.
Exactly, you know, Lemon's going to be able to heal, Xingdo's going to be able to heal as well. Even Chi as well has a little bit of healing on this Karma. Means that they're going to be, like you said, chunking down the healing, and Doe needs to be a little bit careful. Yeah, it's just like, hi, how you doing? He's just going to dash away, but Nomel on his top side.
Try to isolate Lemon out. Lemon picks up the shield. Won't not be able to take damage for now from the auto attacks, but Rolster Y still managed to chase after in time. A very nice face breaker pulls him back in, sets up the kill for itself.
Oh, but Chi's dashing in.
Huge flash forward. The Transcendent Embrace. They lock down Noel under turret. One more hit will take him out. But Luna is dead. Escort him back to safety.
Again, it's this Karma pick that's just not really working out. He's trying to go for the aggressive plays. He has one kill at the moment, but this Karma pick, and again, it's Nomel. You know, last game it was on the Alistar, making the aggressive plays, going in for the flanks. And this game, it's on the set, and he's doing a really, really great job again, setting up these plays for Rolster and getting them the advantage.
3,000 gold here for Rolster Y. Rift Herald spawning up. JDG, the first ones into the pit, trying to start this one up quickly before Rolster Y can get into position, but Nomel very quickly running them down as Spacebreaker pulls 2 in. We're looking for the explosive cast, does not manage to land. Chain of Corruption is still up, so they get a massive fight. They manage to hold Xingdo in place, but the Stand United comes through, and they're very close to taking down Doe. Doe goes into stasis to buy a little bit of time, flashes over the wall, jumps over as well. The Leaf's still there. Xingdo's still alive. Zero in the back of the pit, needs to start kiting away. Luna finally taken down. You take down the Varus, and that's all of RY's damage gone.
Oh no, for Rolster, they missed the charm, they missed the piercing arrow as well on the side of Luna, and it's them small skill shots. If you miss them skill shots, if you miss the little advantages that you can get against a WRL team, they could just capitalize on your mistakes.
Oh yeah, and the fact that they went into the position, you know, it started off well with Nomel, but maybe just a little bit too forced. You know, it just seems like JDG have better team fighting there.
Exactly, you know, like you said, with the Stan United as well, with all the shields that Cheat can offer. With the Singed as well, you know, they have a lot more of a tanky comp. This is really a comp that JDG feel comfortable with the Singed, with the Shen as well. It's so hard to break through these tanks. And again, they don't really have a Darius to break through, you know, with the bleed or anything like that. They only really have Luna to try and break through these tanks. And even Doe as well. But the problem is that Doe's not finding these isolated targets right now.
Okay, split up over by the other side. Rattel's been caught out by JDG. The Rattel's charging down here, so try and draw some attention away as the Dragon spawns. Turret going down. JDG still looking for the entry angle. Rolster Y bringing the Dragon down to 3,000 HP, but they're going to let it reset. But JDG will not let that happen just yet. Trying to find an entry angle back in.
Great
a huge shockwave. Explosive cast out from Doki. Pushes away. Rolster Y. Nomel goes in. Tries to lead the charge. Pulls them forward. Once again, the objective goes over to JDG. And the fight goes south for Rolster Y. Jojo running around the back line of your team. Noel falls first. Lemon comes through. The charm lands on the Shen, but you don't have the damage to finish off the kill. Flashing forward. Rattel hunting and fishing for a kill on the side of JDG. Will not find it though.
Rolster just can't break through the front line of JDG right now. You know, Lemon stays alive, Jojo stays alive. They're able to take the Dragon as well. Jingdo with the smite. And it's so hard, you know. China and WRL, they're so used to playing these front-line bruising tank comps. So take a look back at the replay. You just see, you know, a great explosive cast by Doki, splits him up. The Stan United comes in as well, but look at this. Nomel jumps in, but the problem is that they're just so tanky. There's just no way to break through. There's just not enough damage on the side of Luna, especially when you have a Singe running through you. The Singe is just running on by, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just going to run through. There's nothing you could do to me as well. Rattel tries to jump over the wall, tries to get the execute onto Lemon, but again, it's just, you can't break through the front line. You can see, look how much damage to
Luna's
the
still
Singe
doing a ton of damage, but it's just not enough in this spot.
Yeah, Luna with the most damage in a team fight, but it just shows that no one dies on the side of JDG, and it just shows how tanky this comp is. And it's something that, you know, WRL teams love to play. They love to play this crazy, aggressive front.
Even the observers are having fun with it now.
They love it.
Spin the camera with it.
I think that was more than a 360.
Oh, 720?
He's going above and beyond now. He's loving the spins. I love if you could do that on the camera as well. You just spin around on the camera with production as well.
I feel like half the audience could get motion sickness.
Yeah.
we might get motion sickness.
Yeah. We might have to sit down after it, to be honest. Too much spinning around.
But I think Rolster Y, not only is Luna spinning around, I think they're spinning around in the game as well, and around the map. JDG pulling them around. You know, we saw what happened there. The Reptile used bot side, they pulled them towards the Dragon. Now, look at what's going on. Jojo up at the top side, they have a couple of people mid as well, and then that bot side, Lemon's looking to push that one as well.
Yeah, Rolster again, they're a little bit dizzy themselves, I feel like, in this game. Even though they're only about 1,000 gold behind, it's just so hard, you know, the scaling is there for JDG this game, as Doe's looking to try and get it up. But the problem is that Lemon's so tanky. I don't feel like you can tower dive Lemon here. He can just, he's got the Sunfire, he's got the Divine Sunderer. He's just not going to die. Yeah, look, it's just, there's nothing you can do against this Shen.
If this was when he only had the Divine Sunderer, sure, maybe.
Yeah.
But now he has the Gargoyle Stoneblade, he has the Sunfire King. I mean, he's not going to go down here.
No, he's not going to go down at all. And now I feel like it's Rolster, even though they're only 1,000 gold behind, they're really on the back foot right now as they're trying to play defensive JDG, but this is what we know from JDG. This is kind of what they did against the Mortals. They were just kind of playing stable. They weren't making these over-aggressive plays. They were just like, okay, we're going to scale now. We have the Karma. We have the Jax as well. We have Lemon on this Shen and also the Singed. If we scale, we can beat you in the late game.
I mean, Rolster Y, what they do have is that long range. They have the pick-off potential. But it doesn't mean anything if the rest of his team can't hold off JDG's engage, right? The assault from JDG is like a flood. You know, it pushes forward. Nomel is only one guy. He can't stop everyone from rushing down Luna.
Exactly. You need to, I think for Nomel, you need to make sure you try and get Jingdo away from the back line. You need to save that ultimate to basically use it towards Jingdo. You can see now, nearly level 13. He's gone from being a level behind to now being ahead in terms of experience. And you can even see the build as well from Chi this game. Chi's gone for a more supportive style build, has the Ardent Sensor there. This is kind of the adaptation I wanted to see, even though it is dual lane commerce, they don't have like the same damage as maybe like a Ziggs or an Orianna or someone like that. But being able to get that Ardent Sensor means that they're going to try and play towards Xingqiu as his win condition.
I guess to get the flash away from Lemon, which will be good Unfortunately, I don't think Rolster Y can get that much more off of this. You still see all these outer tier turrets up on the side of JDG. They've been able to hold off to the top side turret despite a lot of the onslaught from Rolster Y. Noel looking for a pick off in the mid side. Doki caught out of position, but very quickly recovers.
The Chain of Corruption unfortunately misses from Luna. Really, really nice reaction flash by Doki means that the Chain Corruption misses. But again, it's Nomel the one that's looking to try and play aggressive and try and get these picks. But the problem is right now is that just nothing's working. The side of JDG, their comp is just way too tanky. You can see that Jingdo also going toward Wit's End now, so going for more aggressive build because he knows he has the shield from Lemon, he has the shields from the Karma as well, so he doesn't need to go as tanky. As you can see, you know, has the Blade of Rune King, has Divine Sunderer, is going for Wit's End as well, which means he's going to get a little bit of magic resist against the Ahri. There you go, it's completed. 4 items now for this Jax. A lot more of a squishier Jax build, but like I said, because he has the shields from the Karma and the Shen, he feels like he can play it more aggressive and he can go for a more aggressive build.
All right, Stuart, I'm gonna say something now, right? We're reaching the part of the game where the next parts are not just your ability to play the fights and play the game, but also your acting skills. You need to sell over to the enemy team that I'm dead serious, I'm gonna finish this objective, man. You have to engage. I'm gonna finish your objective. That's what Rolster Y is telling JDG right now. You see Lemon buy into that because he's going to go back to the base. A huge move going into the backline, taking out Luna right away. Rolster Y lose that damage. Swords over by the side. You have Rattel trying to find a knockup, trying to hold JDG back, but it's too little, too late. Rolster Y have no business on the other Drake. JDG poised to pick it up, poised to take down Rattel. A prime gaming ace incoming here for JDG.
JDG get the ace. Huge engage by Jingdo on this Jax. He tried the Lee Sin last game, he tried the early game aggression, but this game he's like, okay, I'm going to play for the late game this time. I'm going to have a Karma by my side with all the shielding, and I'm going to be the one to carry. As we take a look back, look at Jingdo. He times the counter-strike perfect with the lead. 3 members together, boom, there you go. And then you have the explosive cast afterwards as well. And that's the problem. Luna couldn't flash, he couldn't use anything. I don't think he used the Chain of Corruption as well. And after that, the team, that's it. The team fight's just completely won. All it takes is one engage from Jingdo. And this is what we wanted to see from the jungler. Last game, he struggled a little bit on the Lee Sin, but this game on the Jax, he feels a lot more confident.
Okay, so you see here what happens here. They said they convinced them that they were going to do the Elder Drake, and then JDG said, okay, sure, then we'll kill you. We'll win the game. We'll just win the game after.
You can see, you know, Luna still has flash and everything available.
This is not it. Noel pulls him in, but he brings the counter-strike of Singdo with him. And Luna knocked over by the back. Doki trying to run over for the kill. Finds it in that
Jingdo's
time.
still alive.
Walking away, but Singdo is alive. And there to take him down. Lemon diving on the turret. The charm doesn't land. Flashing forward, looking for the taunt onto 0-0. No longer has a dash. Caught by the ground and caught by the slow. Juju hunting for the last 2 on Rolster Y, but JDG don't need it.
This could be it. This could be the game here, Grandon. JDG are going to look to try and close out this game and take us to a game 3.
They got minion waves coming in here, Stuart. The mid lane turret will fall. Rolster Y now only have the Nexus to play for. Once again, a stun on the Rattel to take him down, but he's going to go into stasis. Nomel falls. Rattel gets back into Fountain in time, but JDG tie up the series 1-1.
Brilliant performance. Why they are the ones that are coming into this as the favourites. They're showing a lot more confidence in this game. The last game, they kind of fell a little bit short to Rolster because they didn't really have that late game scaling, but this time, they went for the Jax. They went for the late game scaling. Even though they fell behind a little bit into the early game to Rolster, JDG are just like, that's fine. We have the late game this time. We have the Jax, and Jingdo on that Jax as well had a beautiful performance.
Stuart, you kind of spilled the script. You kind of leaked the script when you said we had a series on our hands. You're supposed to keep that stuff hidden, man. The audience isn't supposed to know this happens.
I know the script. What can I say?
Stuart's read the script. He's like, yeah, this is a good footnote to add. JDG are gonna. Yeah, guys, maybe let's have it. JDG have a strong game too.
The question is, who's going to win game 3 now? I feel like this series is actually going to be pretty close. That's the thing. I mean,
only you know.
Only I know, I guess. I'm the one that's, you know, it's normally Omo. Omo did really well with predictions on like day 1 of play-ins. He was like, you know what, I'm the prediction god, but I think after that he's just kind of struggled. Now it's me. I've taken over now, but really, really good performance by JDG. But
Omo, you having that?
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
You had one day, Omo, that was it. The one day when your predictions went well and it just went downhill from there, mate. Like, completely downhill.
WCS went 0-2 today, and now you're rubbing it into me.
Oh, man.
It's fine. At least you're not EU or an NA fan. This is even worse.
That is true. That is true. They're hills. But we will see tomorrow if that happens. But before that, of course, we have a game 3. We have a game 3, and it looks as though
Down on
JD
hands,
Gaming.
it's a game 3.
It's a game 3.
It's a
It's a
game
game
three.
3, and it looks as though Rolster Y this time just couldn't get one up from JD Gaming. They came back with a vengeance.
So what happened here is, JD Gaming kind of baited Rolster Y, right? Because it kind of looked like Rolster Y had an easy win with that Varus, right? Luna on that Varus. But then you'd expect Varus to get banned, but JDG doesn't do it. They give it, and they just absolutely hard countered it and stomped Luna.
Yeah, this is what we mean by saying the WRL teams are gonna beat you in a standard game. It didn't happen in game 1. Props to Rolster Y for that. Amazing performance there. But some slight adaptations, some slight tweaks. JDG realized, what do we lack in game 1? We lack the power to decisively start team fights. Singed gave them that.
And I love also how they just didn't ban that Varus. Like a lot of teams would have just banned the Varus, right? Like they would think,
Reactively, right?
yeah, they would think, okay, Luna Varus, we don't want to play against it. They would ban it, and then they would get hit by the Vayne or by any other champion, because Luna is not a one-trick Varus. And Rolster Y got baited into thinking they would get a free win in the Varus again.
Honestly, you look at the clips, Luna still played out of his mind.
He played
the guy
well,
still played
but it doesn't work
well.
into that composition.
It doesn't. That's one of it. That's one part of it, right? And it's also, I think his team kind of dropped the ball in this game. Do was having an insane performance over Singdo in game 1. Didn't quite happen this game. And Ratel's Riven a bit lackluster here as well against Lemon.
And then also Zero on that Ari. Ari cannot
yeah.
kill those tanks very easily. Like, it's just, again, they thought that they could just win the draft again like that, but it didn't work this time.
Yeah, and like we saw towards the late game, right? Lemon's life bar was barely even moving, even though he was like tower
Shen.
diving and everything. It was just everything was just so tanky on the side of JD Gaming. And but I feel like Rolster Y, they did have a window in the early and maybe mid game almost.
They definitely did. There were timings Rolster Y could have ran away with the game, but that's the problem. They are too reliant on finding these timings. Their team comp is very all in on the early game. Who are your 2 major carries? Well, I guess you have multiple carries in your team comp, sure. But if you look at your 2 traditional carry positions, your mid and your marksman cannot do any damage to the tanks. Passes to the point.
What's the one thing we have to say to Rolster Y in draft?
Scale.
Ban? Singed.
Scale? Oh yeah, Ben Singed. That works too, yeah.
Ban Singed, right? Like, that's the one champion that was the big problem. And we kept talking about it. This is a champion you have to ban out. Like, they just couldn't deal with it. During those team fights, Singed probably tanked the most damage, and we saw the damage graphs every single time. Singed dealt the most damage during those team fights as well. So, ban the Singed. You just can't deal with it.
And I think one of the things you gotta consider as well when you're playing champions like Ziggs, champions like Varus, what are you the most afraid of? You're not really that afraid of someone diving to you, right? You got Flash, you got Satchel Charge, whatever, but displacement is the #1 enemy for you. Glue Trap into Gragas cost.
Oh, yeah.
Luna cannot play the game.
Exactly, and that's what happened every single time. The Varus got caught and fight was just lost. Like when a Varus dies in the beginning of a fight, it's over because Varus keeps poking and poking using your ult, but if you can't even do that, the fight is over.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Hells. Like, they did give the Varus, but coming from game 1, they knew exactly how to play around the Varus because they had all of the information that they needed. And, we just saw from the graph, of course, that Rolster Y, they did have that window there, but they couldn't take it.
Look at that Shen damage. Lemon dealt 21,000 damage. How does that happen?
On the Shen, man.
That's crazy. Doing 21,000 damage on that Shen. Lemon just absolutely smurfed on Rolster Y right there. He was unkillable, and then he did so much damage as well.
I actually have no idea how that happened.
I have no idea how that happened as well.
Sometimes when you play Shen into another tank matchup, you can call it a wet noodle fight. You're just padding your stats by hitting the tank the whole game. That didn't happen this game. He's playing against Rivet. So where did all that damage come from?
So I did watch his team fights. Like when he used his first ability, those empowered attacks, they hit really, really hard. He was constantly able to use them during the fights, and that's essentially what allowed him to do that much damage. But it's crazy that he dealt 21,000, and it's crazy that he dealt the most damage from his team, especially because he had a Jax and a Singed in his team.
I mean, yes, I
It's
agree.
crazy.
I was trying to think of a counterpoint there, but yeah, it's pretty nuts.
But it looks as though JD Gaming have got their footing back. We are into game 3, so the big question is whether Rolster Y can actually close this for the first win
I
against
think
the
they can.
WRL team.
I think they can. Again, like they do have the picks that they can do it with, like the Vayne on Luna. Now, the last thing that I want to see Rolster Y do is just randomly pick the Varus again. Sure, it's really good, but I don't want to see them do it again because obviously JD Gaming knows how to deal with it. But the question is, can JD Gaming deal with Luna on actual ADCs as well?
I mean, that's a big question, right? That JDG as well as Rolster Y have to answer. I think in the back of their minds, Rolster Y might be thinking as well. They might be expecting us to go for something like Vayne here. They might have a trap set.
But they
That's
probably
exactly what
do.
I think they do, right? Because Jindong are definitely prepared. They know you play marksman. You've played marksman the entire regular season, the entire playoffs in the WCK. So it's a really tough situation to be in right now for for Rolster Y as well.
Yeah, and considering that, again, we just reiterating the stakes that we have here, this could potentially be the first series win against a WRL team. This is going to potentially put Rolster Y into the first seed into the knockout stage, but I feel like right now, they are in the best position that they can be to take down JD Gaming, but JD Gaming, they know how to strike back.
And this is it, right? It's this game. Well, it's not really all or nothing because they have another chance, but it's all or nothing regarding making a statement.
Yes.
Showing the world, hey, this is us, Rolster Y. We just took a game from the #2 seed from the WRL. That's the big thing, right? Like, they can win this. That's massive, massive momentum going into the knockout stage.
Yeah, they were shaky yesterday. They dropped the game against Liberty. Today, they definitely look a lot better against Jindong. But I have a very educated, well-informed point about why I think JDG is going to win this last game.
What is it?
Because Korea, WCK, they're 1 hour ahead on the time zone. It's already midnight here. So if they're 1 hour ahead, that means it's 1 a.m. in their brains and they're more tired. So that's why Jindong's going to win this last game.
We're at that hour of the day, huh? This is the logic
Quote
that
me on
happens.
that. What is this is the high-level big brain analysis.
This is,
set me
yeah,
up for.
exactly. This is the big brain analysis we have on the desk with Omo.
Time zones, jet lag, baby.
Okay, I need to take these guys off of the desk, and we gotta have a little meeting off stage. So, Brandon and Stuart, why don't you guys take it from here?
Okay, so let me get the math straight, Stuart. Here. Okay, so
Yeah.
I hear Lennon already cringing here over this, and so 1 hour late for WCK. This is why NAEU are having a tough time because like they're playing at like 1 a.m. in their hits, or like less than 1 a.m. or worse than 1 a.m.
Well, no, EU
You guys
is
would be,
like
before that. Like
EU
8
is
hours.
6 hours behind.
Right.
So I should technically be in my prime. Hell should be in its prime right
So
now.
like it would be noontime gaming.
Basically, well, like kind
But
of evening
gamers
time
I'm never awake at that point.
That's true. We used to do 3 a.m. power spikes. We're gamers here.
Exactly.
The 3 a.m. power spikes.
It's reversed. You would think that you would have the advantage, but actually.
I see what you're saying now. I was like, wait, like the EU is 6 hours behind right now.
Yeah.
So if it was midnight right now, then it would be like a decent time.
Right.
But then, like you said, gamers. They peak
we scale.
in the night. Yeah,
we
we scale into the night. The later the night goes, the stronger we become.
See, people think that I'm a morning person because I'm still awake at 6 a.m.
Little do they know that. They don't know you've been awake the entire night. You realize you meet up with someone just like, how you doing this morning? It's like, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I'm out getting breakfast and like, oh, you wake up early too? Yeah. Yeah, wake up.
Imagine waking up being a gamer. Oh, God.
Well, Rolster Y and JDG played their last game in this series. The last game of the day will be between the WCK first seed going up against the WRL. Can they take away the series, Stuart? We'll have to see.
There's a lot of adaptation that's happened already in this draft that I want to talk about. Rolster have decided to go on the blue side this game. This means that they're going to be having that first pick priority, and already the bans have already changed. Varus is being banned away by Rolster. Singed is being banned away. This is going to be a completely different game to what we've seen from the first 2 games.
The fact that they now have the blue side and their first pick, I'm so curious what the game plan is, right? You think so often about what your preparation is going to be, either red side or blue side, and Rolster Y finally, 3rd game, now the blue side.
Yep, there's a lot of picks that are open. Lucian is open. Senna is also open. I feel like JDG are probably going to ban away the Senna, and then that could mean that there could be a first pick for Luna on this Lucian. We've seen him play it before as well. Could be the potential. We have to wait for JDG. They're really thinking about this. They're taking a lot of time as well because there's a lot of it's actually the Lucian. Now, do Rolster play the Senna? They've played it before. They played the Senna, but they're going to go for Camille instead on Rattel.
That is a little bit surprising, considering how much emphasis Rolster have put on the red side, banning away the Senna from JDG. The fact that they want to allow it on the red side now is definitely surprising.
Yeah, they banned away the Camille and the Senna on the red side before in the previous 2 drafts. They're going to be taking away Camille, but now JDG, I feel like they have to take away the Senna now. They have to take the center. Maybe they can go for something else, like maybe the Kha'Zix. The Kha'Zix is also open for Xingdo. There's the center. Yep, it could be either a Kha'Zix or either a Jax now for Xingdo, trying to get the priority on the jungler, because I feel like Xingdo on the jungle, if he can get something that he's comfortable with, he could definitely carry it for JD Game in this game.
It just seems like Jax has found so much success with a lot of these teams, right? Especially the teams that are willing to go into the late game and play for that late state. More often than not, probably the WRL teams, right? And so we see so much success from the Jax. Well,
there it is.
Okay, they will not be able to deny that because JDG just go for it first.
Yep, I think that means that Do is probably going to pick up the Kha'Zix here. Didn't really do too well in the previous matchup, but I think it's something that Do is comfortable on, because if they leave it open, then JDG are probably going to ban it away through the second banning phase. Thinking of other picks that are left open as well, we still got the Gragas open, we still got the Garen open as well. Still have a few other picks open. Riven is also left open, the same with Set as well. So Rolster going to try and prioritize, and it's going to be the Ziggs. Could be a flex pick. Luna has played it before in a WCK, but also Zero has also played it. So they might leave it until the second pick phase to see if it's okay for Luna to play an AD carry, or if he's just going to be put on the Ziggs.
I mean, right now, Rolster Y, still very flexible. They have a lot of options here. Can still go for a lot. Haven't really locked in that much, but now with the Shin, kind of have. It could still go on the on the bot side, but very likely in the top. And then JDG, all right, this is how it is. When you go into game 3, and you see the Ziggs, what do? You hunt for the Ziggs, and the Zed comes through.
Zed's going to jump in. Jax is going to jump in onto the Ziggs as well. It's all about jumping in onto the backline now. And I feel like Rolster is starting to create a comp where it feels like maybe Luna will start to pick an AD carry. You have the Ziggs potential in the mid lane for the wave clear. You have that wave clear, which I feel like most teams try and get. They try and get at least one champion for the wave clear. You have the Shen Camille for the lockdown as well. This could mean that it could be Do on the Camille instead, because it's most likely going to be a Shen up in the top side. As you go through the second banning phase, JDG are going to ban away the Thresh. Probably going to ban away the Set as well, maybe the Alistar, which Namel looked really, really strong on. On the side of Rolster, they're going to ban the combos with Senna, so like the Gragas and potentially the Nasus.
The Nasus does shut down a lot of hyper carries, so maybe Rolster Y that should prioritize the Nasus here. Still a little curious what the rest of the composition is going to round off with. They've had some issues in the last game trying to put out consistent DPS. They had quite a bit with Luna still, but the issue really was consistent DPS, right?
Exactly. They had a little bit of like burst DPS, you can say, with like the piercing arrow and everything. You have a lot of bursted damage, and there you go. There's the Nasus ban as well. So ban away combos away from Senna, which means that I'm trying to think of what else there is. It could be like a Wukong in the bot side with Senna. We've seen the Malphite before, but it was played by Rolster. Could be something that maybe JDG will look towards. They got their support, and they've also got their Baron laner. Oh, the Galio as well. Oh! I knew it. As soon as you see the Ziggs mid lane, as soon as you see the Shen.
Instant.
The instant pick.
2 picks flipped at the same time, Stuart.
Vayne, Lulu. Luna's just like, okay, this is my time to shine. And this is what Rolster can play towards. They can play towards Ratel in the top side, but they can also play towards Luna in the bot side. Vayne, Lulu, a very, very classic combo. Lulu did get nerfed. That's why we haven't really been seeing her as much. Then now you have the Vayne. You have the Shen as well. You have the Ziggs and the wave clear in the mid lane, like I mentioned. I read their minds.
A lot of words talking about how there was no consistent damage from Rolster Y, and they say, yeah, we know that. We've got Vayne Lulu now. What are you going to do, JDG? Well, JDG respond, well, I'm just going to go play the Riven, I guess. I'll play Riven. I'm going to kill your side lane. I'm going to win your side lane. I'm going to assassinate you guys. I don't know what you want.
I think the main thing is as well is it's going to be on the sides of Xingdo and Jojo.
Right.
Are they going to be able to get onto the back line? Are they going to be able to get onto this Vayne Lulu? It's just all about them. It's all about jumping in onto the back line. But you have the Lulu, you have the Ziggs as well, you have the Shen ultimate just in case. And I'm really looking forward to this game, Grandin. This is the Luna that we wanted to see. This is what the analyst desk was talking about as well. The hyper carries on Luna, because this kid, he's only 16 years old. They're putting everything onto Luna's shoulders in this game.
They did it the last time around too. Rolster Y will get another chance even if they lose this match, but it's not something they want to have to deal with. They want to go into the knockout stages early so they get more time to prepare. I'm sure the same can be said for JDG. JDG do not want to be the only WRL team not qualifying for knockouts after today.
Could have this clean sweep for the side of WRL. Every single WRL team coming into Icons going through as a first seed into knockouts from the group stage. Or we could be seeing maybe one of our first upsets, I guess you could call it. Even though it is Korea, you know, it's still a really, really strong region, but taking this series against China, you could say is an upset.
The scary part is after this, in knockouts, you play them again. And what a start here. Rolster Y and JDG go underway. Last game in the series and last chance here for Rolster Y and for Luna to pop off and take a game away and take a series away.
All eyes are going to be on Luna in this game, I feel like. As Zero is playing really aggressive already against his Zed. The range versus melee matchup is a little bit of a difficult one. Oh, okay, he's just like using that. It's like, I'm going to assert a dominance in this lane. I'm just going to use the Ignite. I'm going to make sure that you can't really do too much. But the early game's going to be very difficult, though. You know, Vayne Lulu, a very, very late game combo. You need to make sure that you survive in the early game. You need to make sure that you just farm up as much as possible. You play passive, because you're at the range disadvantage. You're going to get poked out, as you can see already. And it's a little bit difficult for the side of Luna and Nomel. And it's a different pick for Nomel as well. You know, we've seen him on these aggressive supports, but now it's going to be on more of a supportive enchanter this time.
And it's something that Rolster Y have not experimented very much with, right? We haven't got to see it much of, and now finally with the Vayne, what better time to do it than now? Actually, we get to see here, wow, Rattel into Lemon. This is crazy. Signal coming in for a flank, wants a dive. The mini wave starting to crash in. Rattel has the opportunity to outplay it. He has this Ignite as well. Can he actually get it done though? Signal gonna come through first. Counter-strike early, and so you can see they waited out perfectly, but a flash away from Rattel gets him back on the turret. Ignite already used early on though. They managed to get the strike down. Lemon flashes out, but still goes down. A 1-for-1 exchange to the top side.
1-for-2 outplay for the side of Rattel. Beautiful play by Rattel. He was able to survive, and this is a different matchup. This is now Rattel on the Shen. This is now Lemon on the Riven, and Lemon's just like, okay, I'm gonna show you how to play this matchup. He gets a little bit of help as well from Jingdo, but Rattel, with that perfect flash as well to stop the engage, was able to get the 1 versus 2 outplay. And now, on the sides of Rolster, they're going to try and make sure that they can play a little bit more passive, because they need to be a little bit careful. They do have the scaling comp this game, and a little bit of engaged top side as well.
There's no flash on Lemon, so you can't look for this play. One more auto that will get it done. They have no Lemon now, no! Oh my goodness, Lemon! With the upgrade! The level 5 outplay on the turret kills them both, and JDG! 2 kills to the top side, 3 kills at the Lemon.
The level up from Lemon in the end. He got level 5. He was able to get the 1 versus 2 outplay. I was just talking about Rattel, 1 versus 2 outplay in the top side. And now we're going to see Lemon as well. He got level 5 in the middle of this fight. Doe wasn't level 5. The lockdown wasn't there. Lemon was able to survive. He got the level 5 after he got the kill. Look how low he was. The shield as well. He got level 5 from the kill. He quickly leveled up, and then he got the double kill. Lemon, you beauty.
Unreal. And Doe was holding on to this flash. You know, he thought they had the kill. He was just going to hold on to this flash a little bit longer. And he gets punished by that dot of HP.
Lemon's like, you know what, Rattel? I saw you play Riven last game. It was okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you.
He was playing the shit.
Exactly. And now Lemon's just like, you know what? I'm going to show you how to play the Riven. I'm going to show you how to outplay on the Riven, and he's definitely showing this game. 3-1 already, and again, I feel like it's a story of this game as well. It's all been about the Baron lane. There's been a lot of aggression in this entire series across the Baron lane. The first game was behind, but Zero's looking, yeah, he's gone.
Last Justice punch and a death mark is a dead Zero in the mid side. Whew. What a start for JDG, 4-1.
This is what they need to do. They need to shut down Zero in this game. They need to make sure they shut down Zero. They shut down the aggression as well from, you know, shut down the Ziggs, because the Ziggs can scale into late game with the Vayne as well. But really, really nice aggression from JDG to start things off in this game.
I mean, that's exactly what we're looking for, right? That late game from Rolster Y, but you don't get to late game by losing your early game really bad. Like, that is not an easy way to get to the late game.
Exactly. I mean, they're already a 3,000 gold deficit already in this early game, which is not something that Rolster really wanted to get into. You know, Rolster are the ones that are going to need to play passive. They need to play passive. They need to wait for Vayne to get a few items, wait for Ziggs to get a few items, and then afterwards it's fine. But going back quickly to the Baron lane, you know, it's kind of been a matchup in this that we haven't really spoke about too much. You know, we spoke a little about Rattel, but Lemon on the other side, every single game we've seen these exchanges in the top side. You know, in the first game, it was all about the top side aggression. You know, it was the Wukong from the aggression from Rattel. Sorry, not from Rattel, from Lemon in the first game getting the solo kills. And then the second game, it was the kind of different matchup than what we had now. It was actually Lemon getting a solo kill on Shen against Riven on Rattel. And now this game, Lemon's on the Riven, and he's the one that's going to play aggressive, and he's the one that's looking to go in. And same as well with Zex.
Hunting for a kill onto the Mel. He also managed to bring Doki in onto the fight. You can see what happens here. Do losing so much health. Luna losing so much health. They pick up a couple of shields. Rattel comes in with a Stand United, but this is a 3 versus 4. Look at how many you've committed up for the fight.
Lemon's looking to go in. There's so many low health bars on the side of Rolster, but they just dodge everything.
Living Shadow, no Mel, still alive at this point. He has the ultimate and he did not flinch against JoJo.
In the end, it is Rolster who takes the Rift Herald, but I'm not too sure. Zero, do you really want to be standing there? That's not something you want.
Magic from Zingdo, Lemon tanking up the tower, trying to pick up the honey fruit, but the execute comes through, and another kill in the bot side.
JDG getting more early game advantages against Rolster, against this comp as well. This is what JDG need to do. They need to make sure they keep this momentum. They keep the aggression. They make sure that they get kills onto Lemon, onto Jingdo. Already, Lemon has 4 kills on this Riven. 2,000 gold leads on
Lemon's
Lemon
insane
right now.
He's beasting through this. He's showing how to play Riven, and Rattel, I think he's happy about this, Stuart.
Look at this, even more aggressive by JDG now. They're going to try and tower dive. Oh, they're not going to tower dive in the end, but this is what JDG need to do. They need to keep up this aggression, because the later this game goes, the more that Rolster are going to scale as well. But on the side of JDG, they still have a little bit of scaling themselves. You know, they have the Jax, they have the Senna, but I feel like the scaling is on the side of Rolster. So JDG, they need to keep up this aggression. You can see Lemon's getting more and more gold funneled into him as well, into his bot sides.
Game's slowing down a little bit. Rolster Y are already losing so much ground here, Stuart. Watch what Lemon's doing. He's going into the jungle. He's taking it away from Do, and Do doesn't get to skill up, doesn't get much time to farm.
There's not much that anyone on the side of Rolster that can do at the moment against Lemon. You know, pretty much half experience ahead. Yeah, half an experience ahead. You can see all the members, you know, Lemon, Jingdo, and JoJo, all level 9. They're all really, really far ahead at the moment over their counterparts. And Rolster, they need to find a way to slow this game down. But JDG, you know, we're not used to this aggressive style from JDG, but I feel like in this game, they have to keep this momentum going.
And a big part of that, Stuart, I'm going to say this over and over again, is that the teams haven't been able to test them that much yet. You know, Rolster Y, one of the few teams that can pose a threat to a WRL team, to JDG, and so they have to pull out the aggression, right? Because against other Chinese teams, you know what they're going to do. They're going to play the Zed, they're going to go into the mid lane, and they're going to hunt for a kill, and they're going to try and find a lead some way, somehow.
Exactly. They've come up with the Zed this game. The Zed is the main one, really. I feel like JoJo, all eyes are on him, really. Who can he land a death mark on? Who can he try and assassinate? I feel like if there's anything that they need to buy this game on the side of Rolster, it's stasis. As soon as you buy the stasis, you feel like you can negate a lot of the damage from the Zed, from the Jax as well. And you have all the shielding and healing as well, you know, from the Lulu and from the Shen. So they have ways to stop the Zed and shut this Zed down. But Rattel, again, he's in a lot of trouble.
This is just a dive. This is a flash in, and this is Singdo with another kill.
It's another kill over to JDG, but they're going to try and trade in the bot side.
Trading over on the other end. JoJo locked up at Hextech ultimatum. Do pulled away his attention. Wavering there, but ROI will still get the kill in the top side.
That's the first kill over to Luna. That's something that Rolster need to play through. That's their win condition, is through Luna, through getting a Luna head, getting Luna as much gold as possible. But Lemon, he's still playing so aggressive through this bot side. And to be honest, we're at the point of the game already where Lemon has 2 items. He has a Black Cleaver and a Divine Sunder already. He's just going to be unkillable at this point. As Do is... Oh, okay. Do nearly got caught out there with the aggression there from Doki, but unfortunately they weren't able to get the kill. And okay, we're at a bit of a stable point of the game right now.
We're like 10 seconds away from like it not being a stable point of the game, Stuart. I don't want you to say it yet because it's like 5, like Rattel now, no longer stable point of the game.
Okay, we were at like a slow point of the game, but I feel like the aggression is going to keep on coming. It does look like it is. Joe going in for the ulti.
There we go. There's no stable point in the game necessary. Rolster Y acknowledged that the Rip Challenge is not something you can find fault. So he's trading the bottom side. We'll end up seeing the Stanyan to come across to match the heroic entrance out from JDG. A really nice catch onto Jojo, trying to finish off the Zed first. Won't be able to find it, and Doki joined in to help his team, but we get punished for it, and Luna's popping off here in the bot side.
Luna gets a kill in the bot side, but meanwhile, JDG, they're getting advantages over across the rest of the map. It's the mid lane, but Luna's going in again.
They get a catch. They get a huge catch here. She won't go down. JDG had no way of keeping him back alive.
That's another kill over to Luna. It means he's on a killing spree now. That's more gold in the hands of Vayne. 8,300 gold in this Vayne. But like I said, meanwhile, they got JDG got the mid lane tower. Lemon was getting gold in the top side as well. We're going to take a quick look back at this replay. You can see that Doe was able to get the tower, and you can see the Shen ultimate, the Lulu shields on top of that as well. There's nothing that JDG could do about it because Luna's just on the back line, just free hitting with the auto attacks as well. And you can see that this is what Rolster want to play through. Doe is just staying on Luna this entire time, making sure that there's nothing they could do. But JDG, they get more objectives.
They get the objectives to get one turret in the mid lane, a second charge on the inner tier turret, and then the dragon as well. So JDG might have lost a couple of kills, but they still are 5,000 gold ahead here.
Yep, 5,000 gold ahead. Like you said, even though the kills are even, they have 2 dragons, they have 3 towers as well. They're just getting a lot of gold across the map from just outplaying them in terms of macro-wise. You know, it might not be in terms of, you know, team fights, that maybe the skirmishes are not going their way, but this is the great thing about WRL teams and JDG in general, is that they just play the map so well. They know how to get advantages across the map.
Gonna keep pressuring them in as we start to see now Jojo picking up quite a couple of items. You know, when you have so much ability haste, so much cooldown reduction, it just becomes so easy to have that death mark on cooldown, on demand. You get to go onto Luna, onto Zero, and someone needs to do something. Here's the thing here, Stuart. I have to say that Doki actually getting caught out here by Do, so I need to keep putting my attention onto that first as JDG will once again see someone get caught out position.
Another kill over to Luna. Luna's on a rampage now. It's ramping up more and more gold, and this is looking more and more promising now. JDG, they've slowed down a little bit. They had a little bit of that early game aggression. They tried to put Luna behind. They got a few kills onto Zero, but now Luna has a few kills, has 4 kills, has the most gold on his team. But look at the opposite side of the map. Lemon is nearly double the amount of gold of Rattel.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Nearly double the amount of gold.
Well,
in a
remember that jungle game? Remember that game with the junglers? I'm gonna let you stew on it for a little second.
I'm trying to think.
If you, it's fine if you don't recall it, but with another WRL team, where you had like where Hells was saying you were gonna see like triple the gold lead over somebody else, like a 10,000 over like gold lead off of something else. A big little pickup here over by the top side while we're discussing something else entirely. Roasted Wine were also caught unawares. Now they have to try and do some damage control. Do caught out, and Luna caught out. A triple kill here for Singdo. JDG are punishing Roasted Wine.
Yeah, Jingdo, beautiful play on the Jax there in the end. The counter-strike coming up huge against the Vayne. Vayne is the champion that wants to auto-attack. You know what's perfect to counter that? It's the counter-strike. And they're just going to go straight for this Baron as soon as it spawns at 13 minutes. But there's nothing that they could do. Luna's dead for 10 seconds.
I mean, you just have Jojo single-handedly zoning them off. Zero needs to be aware of this, need to back away. He still has the Hourglass, so he can survive through the damage from Jojo. But that's another big issue, right? You can pick up the Hourglass, but you're not doing damage while you're in stasis. So Luna, you might be able to survive, but the rest of your team dies when you come back out. You're just going to die anyway.
Exactly, and that means that JDG are able to take this Baron. It's nearly a 10,000 gold lead now, and I feel like it's slowly starting to get away from Rolster, and it kind of fell apart a little bit in the early game where they were trying to make some early game plays. It was JDG really with the aggression on the top side again, with Lemon getting so far ahead against Rattel, and Rattel only has 2 items completed, and meanwhile, you know, Lemon has 3 items completed. Jingdo on this Jax as well is so far ahead, and everything's on the hands of Luna at the moment. But the problem is that Luna just can't 1 versus 9. He can't kill everyone on the side of JDG.
Yeah. There's only so much you can do single-handedly, right? Luna is stacked up against some incredibly immense odds. Here, JDG looking so incredibly strong. We see the power of the combo.
Luna, though,
trying to force the hand, trying to force JDG into an uncomfortable position. Doki gets the taunt off, and they got the crowd control onto Luna. Luna goes down once again. JDG in prime position to close out the game.
Yeah, they're in prime position indeed. They're going to look to try and end it. They have the burn buff. This has happened before. They're going to be splitting up. They've got multiple minions rushing in, and this could be the end of the game.
2 dead on the side of Rolster Y. Last stand comes through. JDG moving in, gets the taunt down, moving on to the next is JDG for the win. And WRL against the world. WRL, don't lose!
Clean sweep for WRL today. They win every single series that they won. JDG, Nova, J-Team, FPX, every single one of these Chinese teams go through as the first seed in group stage. And I'll be honest, Grandon, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an all-Chinese semi-final at this point. They look absolutely unbeatable.
Your reward for making it into knockout stage is to play a WRL team.
Yeah.
For all the other teams here, and we have some amazing teams through it, their prize is to play against a Chinese team again.
Whoever goes through as the second seed now, they're just like, okay, great, we made it through to knockouts. And it's just like one of them things where you look at the next step ahead, you're like, oh no.
So remember earlier today where we saw Omo have his players to watch, and it was all junglers. You were like, these are all junglers. They get to have their pick. They get to go, do I want to go up against the JDG jungler? Do I want to go against 0711? Do I want to go against Signal? What's the plan here, guys? Like, what do we do?
I don't think it matters what you come up against. I mean, all these junglers for the WRL region, Jingdo showing up this game. You know, he struggled a little bit in the first game on the Lee Sin, but on this Jax in the second and third game was a huge performance. And JDG, they struggled a little bit. You know, they dropped one game, but they came up in the second and third game, and they showed why they can be one of the best.
An opportunity there for Rolster Y and JDG recover beautifully, pulling back the series 2-1. Rolster Y did give us some pretty good moments though. We have, I would say, renewed faith here in Luna, right? Coming into this one, they had a rocky series against Liberty to begin with, but ultimately they managed to recover and gave us a pretty good showing. Omega as well, honestly. Omega also gave us a really nice
100%,
display. So something to look forward to with a lot of these first seeds.
Definitely, and they're going to be all moving down to lower brackets, and it comes down to next 2 days now. Who's going to come up against all of these Chinese first seeds? Who is going to be the ones to try and take them down in the knockout stages in the quarterfinal? And to be honest, I don't see anyone knocking down these teams, but you know, Omega showed today, Rolster showed today, even RRQ as well. They showed that they can potentially take games off of these Chinese teams, but the problem is no one's been able to take the whole series. They could take one game, they can get a cheesy win or something like that, or even a dominant win like Rolster did in today's, in the first game. But it's just taking that momentum and going forward with it as well, and making sure that you can continue that momentum, because China, they just look so good when it comes to these best of threes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stuart, good thing for the Western teams then is that you're not casting tomorrow, right? So maybe
Happy days.
renewed hope for all these teams. We saw some amazing plays, but we have so much to talk about. We're going to have the analyst desk break this one down, because a clean sweep, WRL 4-0 for the day.
4 out of 4. And that is amazing. I mean, we kind of saw it coming. Everybody kind of said, okay, WRL just built different. But this was like pure confirmation that these teams are just on a whole other level.
Yet again, we saw it coming, but when you actually see it happen, it's a whole different thing, right? We keep saying it. They just beat out so many #1 seeds from every region, making it look like nothing. I mean, this is crazy, Omar.
Yeah, I mean, the really frustrating thing about playing against the WRL team in the series is you beat them in a game, and then they just say, you made me use 50% of my true power, and then they go into second phase mode, and then they just stomp you in the last game. It's so frustrating to play against, and I can't imagine what that does to the mental of these teams.
Yeah, and we really did see Rolster Y, we really did see them push it here. We saw Luna playing out of his mind in this game, and he very nearly got the W for Rolster Y in Game 3, but I just don't think when you have Lemon with that, like, with those amazing plays, I mean, it's gonna be a tall order, and it was indeed.
Yeah, but let's be honest here. Rolster Y was the only team that like genuinely challenged the Chinese team. We could hear them scream. We could hear the Chinese team scream. They were making like actual calls. They were screaming. They were fully concentrated. Like they were
sweating,
afraid of Rolster Y, and that's a big thing right here, right? Sure, they won, but they were playing on full capacity in that game.
Yeah, I think that this was a really good indication of what a WRL team can play like at full capacity, firing on all cylinders like that. And honestly, it's a bit unfortunate for Rolster Y as well, because at the end of the day, it was the little things that cost them the game. cost them the series and cost them a chance to
that
end
Riven
China's
dive.
undefeated
The
streak.
Riven dive.
Riven dive is a big part of that. Nomel's face check. Nomel's not following Luna at the last fight at the bot lane there as well. It's the little things which add up. And honestly, I don't want to pin the blame on Nomel as well because he's role swapped. He's inexperienced in the role, but it just shows you how any little crack in armor,
Yeah.
and the WRL team, boom, drives the knife right in.
Exactly, and like you mentioned, there were so many little windows for Rolster Y to be able to take this win. Like when we saw them pushing over here on this side, I actually thought that they were going to this was the snowball that they needed.
Luna is the best Vayne in the world. I mean, okay, so WRL
Have you seen mine? Have you seen Grandis?
After Omo. Okay, after Omo. I'm not talking about Emerald Hero, by the way.
Yeah, that's Grandin.
Yeah. So regardless of the WRL teams, I can actually confidently say that Luna is the best Vayne in the world. I've seen this guy and you just saw him as well. He was the only one that was able to hold up with this team and he nearly carried the game. Rolster Y had many games where like they were just losing, but then Vayne just carries the game. Luna just carries the game on Vayne and they just win.
He's the miracle worker
Yeah.
for the team.
Yeah.
He makes it work. But that last couple plays there, one mistake, one slip up, and JDG just swarm over you, overwhelm you. And even as a Vayne, you can kite, you can condemn. You can't do that against 3-4 champions. Jack, Zed, Riven, all diving in on you. It's too much.
Exactly, and it feels like throughout the whole day we've been saying the same story 4 different times. But I feel like what's changed since the play-ins is that, you know, all of the Chinese teams today, they were definitely challenged, Hells. They were definitely pushed. And, you know, well, okay, maybe some more than others, but I feel like they definitely sweated it.
Surprisingly, the least challenging game for the WRL today was the Nova Team Flash series.
Right.
Yeah.
That one we expected to be the closest, if not the one that the
That's right.
non-WRL team would win. Ended up being the easiest for Nova.
And that's why esports is so interesting,
Yeah.
right? That's why the Wildworld icons are so interesting. You can see these random teams just doing such a good job. Omega Esports as well, right? They did so incredibly well against FPX, who's the #1 team from the WRL. So it's just super interesting to see what kind of plans all these teams have to try and take the series from the WRL, and to see that the craziest plans, right? Like with the Veigar and the Draven, these are the types of things that work. And the further we got into the tournament, the better the teams get, right? Like we're funneling down into the best teams, and we're gonna get into the knockout stage. We have 4 Chinese teams, we're gonna have 4 other teams. Maybe they'll get challenged there.
Maybe, but that's the thing, right? So you have these teams evolving, trying out new things against the Chinese teams, but the Chinese teams, they're also catching on. It's like, okay, so you're trying that against us, all right, then we're gonna adapt as well. It's constant evolution for all of the teams on all fronts here. I do want to ask though, Hells, do you think that these teams are closer, or at least closer to getting that W over WRL teams?
I still think not. Like, okay, Rolster Y did well, but like I think this looks like an obvious top 4 WRL teams. Like they are just so much better. It's a whole different level to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great chance for the rest of the world to learn, to get experience, to try to figure it out. Of course, it's not over yet. We still have the top 8. Of course, half of that's going to be WRL teams, but it's not over yet. I want to see what adaptations teams can make. Now that you've played them one time, surely you know what you want to do the second.
So the thing is, like, all the Chinese teams have already beaten the top seed, right? Like the ones that won, the ones that got through, they have already beaten them. So they have already showed that they are kind of the best.
Yeah, and I'm really eager to see what Rolster Y has to say about this series, especially since, as we keep mentioning, they were probably the closest team bringing the competition over to a WRL team. So I believe we have an interview standing by with Nomel himself from Rolster Y. Over to Digon.
Thank you very much, Mika. After their last match, I'm joined by Rolster Y's support, Nomel. Nomel, it was a great series. You're able to get one win, but weren't able to close it out. I wanted to get your thoughts on the series.
일단 굉장히 좋은 승부였고 1세트를 이겼지만 매치를 가져오지는 못했어요. 지금 어떤 기분이신가요?
실수가 상당히 많이 나왔고 준비했던 거에 비해서 제대로 된 모습을 조금 못 보여드린 것 같아서 두 번째 세트랑 세 번째 세트가 조금 많이 아쉬움에 남아서 기분이 그렇게 좋진 않네요.
We made a lot of small mistakes, and we obviously didn't showcase 100% of what we prepared. So I'm very sad about the result of game 2 and 3.
On the English broadcast, we were saying this is the first time a team has looked more dominant in their win. It wasn't a lucky win. It was a dominant win. Does that fact make you happy?
첫 세트 같은 경우는 좀 운이 좋아서 이겼다기보다 좀 중국팀 상대로 굉장히 압도하는 모습을 보였는데 그게 조금이라도 위안이 되시나요?
아니 딱히 위안이 되진 않고 다음 경기 잘 준비해서 최종전 이겨가지고 8강 때 다른 중국 팀을 상대로 이길 생각을 하고 있습니다.
It's not a relief for me at all. All that's on my mind is that we're going to prep well for the final match and the quarterfinals. And if we meet another Chinese team in the quarterfinals, then we'll definitely win against them.
Well, if you make it to the quarterfinals, that will be the play. What is the biggest learning lesson you have from this series?
그럼 오늘 경기에서 가장 많이 배운 점은 어떤 건가요?
일단 경기 분위기랑 흐름 같은 게 있는데 그런 거를 조금 깨닫게 됐고 그다음에 이제 조금 자그마한 실수들이 서로 상대가 나와도 좀 크다란 실수만 없으면은 게임이 잘 굴러가서 결국에 한타 한 번 이기면 되는구나라고 생각이 좀 들었습니다.
I think I just got the overall atmosphere and feel for a series. And I also realized that although we might make a lot of micro mistakes, if we don't make any substantial mistake and do well in one team fight, then we could definitely win a game.
You definitely can. And, again, it was great to watch your series. 감사합니다. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the translation here. And back to you, Mika.
Oh, that's so interesting that Rolster Y says that, or at least Nomel says that they finally gotten their feet wet. They finally got a feel of how a series is supposed to play out here on the stage. That could be a big factor, and Rolster Y might come out victorious maybe the next time.
I have high hopes for them. They seem to adapt very well over the course of the series. They seem to have good game plans for how they want to win. They seem to have multiple playstyles through which they can win a game, rather. It's a good sign because yesterday against Liberty, frankly, it was a disappointing performance. Today, though, much more signs of life.
Definitely. This is the Rolster Y that we know. And, it seems like Nomel was a bit disappointed. I would not be disappointed because that was great. They did a great performance.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they did some slip-ups, but this was great. Compared to what they showed to Liberty, this is a whole different Rolster Y. And I feel they still can evolve a bit further. And indeed, as he said, they could beat out the Chinese team.
They've got the Mamba mentality. They want to win.
Yeah, definitely. And it still is a landmark performance against a WRL team. But on the other side, congratulations to the Chinese region. That is a 4 out of 4.
WRL.
Wow.
All 4 Chinese teams will be proceeding to the knockout stage and may have sweated a little bit, may have been challenged today, but still no problem. Definitive wins for them. Now let's check out tomorrow's schedule and see what's in store for the rest of the teams here at Icons. So far, we have Leviathan versus T1. We have Team Queso versus Sengoku Gaming. We have Bariram United versus Flash Wolves. And we have Immortals versus Liberty. A lot of very spicy matches. Omo, I'm looking at Bariram and Flash Wolves. We cry because this is SCA versus SCA. And Hells, I'm pretty sure you have your eye on Team Queso.
I mean, yeah, I still have it, right? I still want to see Team Queso win, but to be honest, after seeing these teams play today, it's just like a whole nother level. I want to see Team Queso win, but I'm especially curious about the third game as well, right? I want to see BRU against Team what was it, Flash Wolves?
Yeah, Flash Wolves.
Yeah, as well. Like that's going to be so interesting to me too.
Yeah.
I think we've got some very exciting games tomorrow. Immortals against Liberty is going to be
that one as well.
That's going to be fiery.
Of course, I'm looking out for Flash Wolves, BRU, Team Kill. These two teams did not play in the WCS finals. I was talking to someone from BRU. He said, I asked him, how's the match going to go tomorrow? He said, 50-50, we mental boom. Then I'm like, if you mental boom, why is it 50-50? Then he said, because Flash Wolves are also mental boom. So it's going to be a good one.
It feels sad, of course, that we're going to see SEA go up against SEA, but also very, very exciting indeed. So it looks like we are in for another spicy day tomorrow. So I hope you guys do stay tuned for that. I am Mika Fabs alongside Hells and Omo, and on behalf of the whole production, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to see you here, same time, same place. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you in the Rift.
Ain't no mystery.